artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
With a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. They were too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
So you said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 6, 3, 2, 9, 7.
Media doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. And I'm here with your co-host, Ash, the Reptilian. And we would like to say hello to all of you who might also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? You know what the deal is. It is Tuesday. It is Super Tuesday, and that means Election Day. And that means we're not going to talk about that, because we don't do that. But Tuesday means it's show night, and that's what we're doing tonight. We got some great stuff to talk about. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Hang around. We got all kinds of stuff. If the graphics there don't give you a hint, then the hint is Machine Elves and DMT. There's your hint. That's what we're talking about tonight. So if you want to hang around for some consciousness talk and some other weirdness, well, you're in the right place. And if you're wondering how the hell you got here, well, yeah. This is a show where we like to talk about the things we're not supposed to talk about. We talk about the news cycle, the 24-hour news cycle. That is, we talk about major corporations, the government, academia. We talk about all the things we're not supposed to talk about. We build our own narrative because we think it's important, and we don't like the brainwashed narrative that's cascaded down upon us on a daily basis. So we do it ourselves. We do it our damn selves. And this show is open source. We include you. We do it live. So if you do want to be part of the show, it's really easy. Pick up the phone, dial 702-957-1037. You could also join the Discord. Go to troubledminds.org. That's the official website. You'll find the phone number and the Discord link there, and you can be on the show both ways. And we encourage your participation because, again, that's why we do it live. Everything's not perfect. The delivery's not perfect, and we're not perfect. But hopefully together we can form a more perfect something or other. That's what the show's about. That's what the show's about. We will do shout-outs in the chat, which is what we normally do. If you want a shout-out, type in the chat where you're watching from, and do join the conversation in the chat as well. We'll read as much chat as we can as we go, and I think that narrows it down. That sets it up. That sets it up for your co-host, ladies and gentlemen, Ash, the Reptilian from Mars. How you doing tonight, my man? Oh, hold on. You're not coming through. Hold on. One sec. Sorry. That was my bad. Okay, try it. Say something again. Negative. Still negative. Hold on. One more time. Try it one more time.
Hello.
There we go. Third time's the charm. Welcome, Ash, to the show.
Hey. Just like our episode today, I had to break through and get to the other side. Tonight we have a great show. I'm excited about it. Good topic. You guys are familiar with Joe Rogan. He's always saying, hey, have you ever tried DMT? That's the joke. So
there's the meme.
That's what we get to talk about tonight.
There's the meme. Hey, kill your noise gate on your Discord, please, because you sound good, but you're clipping out just a smidge there. If you turn it back on, thank you. Yeah, so DMT, we got some Joe Rogan on deck tonight. We got some clips from him talking about DMT and consciousness and where we come from and everything in between. So that's what we're talking about tonight. Per usual, we've got news, so we're going to talk about news, and then we will do shout-outs, and then we'll get into some DMT talk and some machine elves and beings from other dimensions. How about that? That's new. I mean, maybe not so new for us, but it is. This exact conversation is kind of new for us. So, all right, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. That's what's on deck. And all right, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, so I've got. Let's do it. Okay, let's start with shout outs. We got. Let's start with YouTube. We got Paul. What's happening? Paul gets first on YouTube. We got JD and Raina from Edinburgh, Texas. They get first on Facebook. Thanks for showing up, guys. Then we got Ryan. We got Elizabeth from the Oregon, the Pacific Northwest. We got Elisha. Thanks for showing up. We got Christian. I love Tuesday. We love that you love Tuesday. Trevor from Ontario, Canada. How you doing? Steven. We got Benjamin. We got Joanne. Hello. Thanks for showing up. We got Christian. Yo, the earth is flat. He says, all right. Yeah, I got it. Got it. What's up, Nikki? Thanks for being here. Christian, yes, all the way from Phoenix, Arizona. Then we got Bailey gets a close second on YouTube. We got C Pete. What's up? We got let's see, who else do we got? We got Penny from the UK, all the way from the United Kingdom. Thanks for showing up, Penny. Hope you're feeling better. We got Noble Cal L hosting us on Mixer as usual. Thanks, my man. We got who else? Dan from SoCal. How you doing? We got, let's see, who else do we got? I think that sums it up. That narrows us down. Yeah. Dan wants to talk coronavirus math. I agree 100%. There's some sketchy math going on out there, but yeah, we have a brief coronavirus update, which we'll get to in just 1 second. But otherwise, we're going to do regular news. Joanne says that Earth isn't completely flat. What's up, Candy? Thanks for showing up. And I think we can agree probably on that the Earth it probably isn't mostly flat. How about that? Let's agree on that. Okay, there we go. So again, we're live 702-957-1037. Join the show by dialing. Share it up on Facebook if you have not. We appreciate that a lot. It helps to reach a ton. And let's go. Let's get some news under our belt. What do we got tonight? Actually, you know what? Let's start with the funny one. Shall we start with the funny one? All right.
Yeah, let's start in a good mood. You know?
All right. Let's do it. All right, here we go. All right. So as most of you know, we have what's known as Super Tuesday, and so it's the day when 14 states vote in their primaries. Right. It's usually not our shtick to talk politics, but I think this was too important to miss with all of the shenanigans going on, the political garbage of this and that. Well, what do we have? This is what we have. How about this?
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
That's right. We have breaking news. We have breaking election news. You'll never believe this. This is so unbelievable that we have to report it, politics-wise. It's being reported that the projected winner of the lost city of Atlantis is Michael Bloomberg, and it only cost him $700 million. So our hearty congratulations to Mini Mike Bloomberg, and thanks for spending all that money for all our print shops and all our media reps and all of our folks in the country to boost the economy. We need your help, Mr. Mini Michael Bloomberg. But he was a resounding winner in the lost city of Atlantis, and we congratulate him heartily. So congratulations once again to Mike. Again, that concludes our coverage of Super Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in, and now we get to some actual better stuff. Some better stuff. Yeah, I mean, hey, what can you do, right? Sometimes you spend, $20 and you get something. Sometimes you spend $700 million, you get nothing. Well, whatever. whatever. Yeah, how does that make you feel?
Well, I mean, Mike Bloomberg is basically keeping tons of marketing consultancies alive for years on his own. What a generous man. What a good guy. helping out the economy. You know, it just it's good. It shows you can't buy the election, right? Unless it's Atlantis. What did he?
exactly.
Did he like convert it to like treasure? And like, is that the currency that he needed?
I have no idea what he did. It doesn't matter if you don't get the results, though, does it? It really doesn't matter. Anyway, that was just a funny aside, I hope, because there we go. Easy projecting. Let's do some real news. What do you got? What do you got, Ash?
Yeah, I don't quite have the lost city of Atlantis, but I do have an article here. It's by Fox News, so it's not political.
All right. Oh, that's a good start.
It's not. I actually just noticed it is Fox News. But NASA thinks alien life might be hiding in an underground cave. Ancient caves on Mars. So, scientists think that there is life on Mars. It's likely to be hidden deep in underground caves. This theory is supported by NASA experts, and the U.S. Space Agency will be sending a new rover to the red planet this summer. So, yeah, they go on to say that the surface of Mars is a really harsh environment, not suitable for life, and there's no liquid water available. If there was going to be water, it would be underground. So they think that ground hot water might be there, and if life ever existed on Mars, that's where it would be. So, NASA's been hinting that life is around the corner. They're going to have an announcement soon. And I think whether they found it or not, they're on the cusp of making it official. So, pretty interesting.
I tell you what, talking about like the eternal flirt here, like we've been talking about life on Mars for over a year now, a year and a half, even almost 2 full years. It's ridiculous, and it seems like they toe the line. They get so close, and they want to tell us something, right? They get so close, and they're like, "All right, guys, I think we should probably roll this story." And then it's like press time, and somebody says, "Hey, wait, no, cut it, no, we're not doing it today." And then something like this rolls out. Like, oh, well, they think maybe there might be in like an ancient cave on Mars, speculatively, maybe life. Come on, guys.
Yeah, it's like they want to, I think they're scared of going over that line. Once you go over that certain line, they're not exactly sure. You lose control, right? Do you think that they discovered life and they're hiding it?
I think without a doubt. I think not maybe not like little green men running around on Mars, that type of thing. But I'm almost certain at some point they've discovered microbes or something, and they're just so gun shy about the can of worms that might open. And I just don't understand why. Like, we're ready for this. Like, people are begging for this. People are asking Bernie Sanders about this. It's like come on. Like, really? You think that the world can't handle this news? Like, oh, dear Lord, we're not the center of the universe, are we? Well, no shit. How long have we known that, it's beyond silly at this point, if you ask me. It's just, again, the reason why we do this show. We to talk about this stuff and say, hey, what's going on? What's going on, news cycle? You suck. Tell us something real and not this almost stuff. Like, almost, just stringing us along. Talking about, talk to Tom DeLonge, right? To the Stars Academy. They're the ones who know. No. We know. We're not stupid. We know what's going on here. This is silly. But I guess that's the theory, right? There might be life hiding underground in an ancient cave on Mars. Actually, isn't that where you're broadcasting from, Ash? An ancient cave on Mars?
I hope they don't find.
Yeah?
That would be terrible.
That would be terrible. It would be terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want, you know what? I don't want your humans coming in my cave, okay? Sneaking it up with your gorilla juices or whatever. I don't know what you humans do.
We're super spreaders. We just infect everything we touch. So don't stay there. Just stay there. All right. A few more shout outs here and we'll keep on trucking. We got Brandon. Thanks for showing up. We got Rajesh from Canada. Hello. Let's see. Jeff says, I voted for Tulsi Gabbard today because the globalists don't want her and she's censored by Google. And you're completely right. She is not allowed. Tulsi is not allowed. There we go. Let me know if we fixed Ash. He did sound like a strobe light. Let's see. Yeah,
do
Joanne,
I sound better?
Yeah, I think you sound better. Let us know. Let us know how he sounds. I think we fixed it.
Maybe it's my Tourette's.
Let's see. Yeah, right. Christian says, like the movie Transformers on the Moon. Yeah, maybe. Ryan says, so much more than microbes. I agree. There's some stuff out there they don't want to tell us. Brandon, or a big rock hit it from space, he says. Steven says, let's find the ones here. Yeah, exactly, right. Find the ones like running the governments, like those ones you mean, the reptilians. Let's talk about those ones.
Yeah, we're pretty good at that.
Yeah, or not very good at that. How about that? Yeah, crazy stuff.
Not for you guys. But
no, definitely not.
Myself.
Definitely not. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay, so anything else on this? So they're flirting with it again. They want to tell us. It seems like they really want to tell us something, right? It's like
right.
There's a rumor out there, and we kind of want it. No, not today. Not today.
You know what's funny is just a few things on this is that NASA's got caught like driving a rover around in like Arizona or something, taking footage of it, and then basically using it to say this is Mars rover footage. My theory is that they've basically have a secret space program. Their technology is so advanced they just fake the NASA missions. So once they kind of go over a line, it's going to be tough to control the narrative, and I think that's 100% what it is, controlling the narrative. I've heard rumors that there's like lizards running around Mars, and supposedly that's where we came from, or civilization came from there. It's just, this kind of sucks. It's a little frustrating to be in the dark still, right? Like, at least give us a little bit. Like, move the peg a little. The peg has been the same spot for way too long.
Yeah, and we've kicked this can back and forth for. It's just. It's embarrassing at this point, I think, and they keep telling us no, and we keep seeing evidence to the contrary. That's like, well, what's all this weird shit in the sky? Like the anomalous stuff that you can't really explain. Not the lens flares,
right.
Not the swamp gas, not that stuff, right? Not the airplane that you mistake for something else. Like the Phoenix Lights, where the thing was like, I don't know, large enough to land a 747 on, like something like that. Like
yeah, and there's like hundreds of different videos from different angles. It was there for like a day. The Navy's confirming UFOs, but they can't confirm life on Mars. Come on.
It's just silly. Again, it's embarrassing to us. You're insulting our intelligence. Just out with it, people. Just out with it. Like quit this narrative control. Quit this BS. Just out with it. This is dumb. Okay, so anyway, we're preaching to the choir here, and we know it. But what do you guys think? Do you think this is? I've heard lots of theories. It's a controlled disclosure. Or they want to drip. They want to wait for a particular moment. But that's suspicious as hell to me, right? Because if you're waiting for a particular moment, what are you waiting for? You're waiting for I don't know, maybe a worldwide pandemic to break out when you can suddenly say, oh, the aliens are here, and then declare martial law, and everything kind of zips up into a nice, perfect FEMA camp in a Walmart parking lot. I mean, what are we talking about here? Like, what's the perfect moment for disclosure, right? One that's convenient for the government to strip rights from people? I don't know. I think that Surge guy from Project Bluebeam would probably make that case, and I think he did. So I don't know. It's whatever, blah, blah, so on and so forth. This is ugly. This is silly. Please just out with it. We're tired of waiting. And, change the reality of maybe global politics, maybe exopolitics while we're at it. I mean, anyway, you get it. All right. So anything else on this? I got a coronavirus update, which is pretty okay, or not. pretty troubled minds. Pretty troubled minds. Sorry, anything else?
No, that's it. Let's move on to the death virus.
All right, here we go. So we got Futurism.com reports this, and this is amazing. The ultra wealthy are trying to get a coronavirus vaccine early. No shit. You don't say. Okay. Well, I mean, there's the link. You guys can check it out. So a fascinating new Bloomberg feature looks at how ultra wealthy are preparing for the growing COVID-19 coronavirus outbreak. And the grim takeaway is some of the rich have been asking their boutique physicians whether there's any amount of money that can score them an early access coronavirus vaccine before the huddled masses. It's I think huddled masses is poor. Right? That's poor terminology. Why don't you call us plebs? Why don't you call us the unwashed masses? How about that? That's probably better.
How about our real title, serfs?
The serfs. There you go. The slave class.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, come on, really? Of course. So this is written by Futurism.com, and they have to toe the line, journalism and all this stuff. You know how they say they fake the ethics, right? I don't mean Futurism in particular. I just mean the media in particular. All of them, all of you. Don't be offended, Futurism. I'm including you with everybody else. But here we go. So they report the answer is no. Hey, Cruz told the magazine. But they do just want to know, like they're putting the feelers out there, like how much money would it take, to maybe get the vaccine a little bit early before the rest of the unwashed masses, the plebs, the serfs, the slave class. Oh, is there anything, is there anything we could do for your family, or maybe buy you a nice boat, or oh boy.
Remember that article with the Chinese? What was it? Singapore sent a plane to go get their people back, and some of the elite Chinese actually paid their way to get on that plane. And Singapore was like, what the hell are these Chinese people on this plane for? It's supposed to be Singapore people. And they had to send a second plane to get the rest of their people. So, I mean, if you got a lot of money laying around, it usually solves the problem. You know what I'm saying? So you can't blame them for trying.
I mean, yeah. Well, they're trying to buy up the political nominations. They're trying to buy up all the early access to the vaccines. I mean, this is kind of the point, right? And so this is, again, nobody's surprised by this, right? Except how disgusted are you by this? I think that's kind of the question here. And how much should we put up with this crap? And I don't mean that rich people are evil and let's class warfare. I don't mean any of that. I am not a demagogue politician. It's not that. I'm just saying that, really, like as they say, every man, or let's just shoehorn woman in there to be fair, every person has their price, right? Every person has their price, they say. And that's universal, isn't it? I wonder if every alien has their price. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You bring me a cow.
Definitely.
I'll put you to do whatever you want.
How many we deal in cattle? We instead of trading the seashells by the seashore, we trade cattle, live cattle to the aliens. Okay. Anyway, I don't know. So there we go. The rich people are like, hey, check it out. Can we get early access, right? We can get backstage pass, a little scratch, a little money under the table. I mean, buy you a nice house. What'll it take?
No, but
let's negotiate.
It's a good point where I think people in this country are starting to feel that there was the American dream. We're all supposed to be created equal. You're supposed to be the same as me, right? The same rights and stuff should apply. And I think these days, the elites, and by elites, I just mean anyone with power, right? Money, power, influence. They get to kind of slip by any sort of justice. And it's slowly turning into, like kind of like a monarchy or a feudal system where there's kind of like different classes and you have different, laws and different things that you can get away with and not get away with. And, it's not what America was kind of founded on. It is disgusting. And we've seen like a tremendous amount of prosperity in our country from these kind of almost kind of like like superhuman ideas, I guess, like where we're all equal. That's kind of almost like a spiritual idea, right? It's almost like typically that's not what humans go with. They usually go with this kind of feudal system or people abusing power. And it's sad to kind of see that experiment with it. And it's a beautiful thing, and it's Constitution and all that stuff, and kind of just see it degrading. People are tired of it. In politics, people are pissed. You want to, like getting ready to picket soon.
Preaching the choir. Preaching the choir, my man. It's right. Like it's like Joe Biden tried to say today. If anybody saw those clips, that all men are created equal. Well, we'll say people. All people are created equal, and he couldn't even say it. He didn't know it, right? Like but it is. It's now. This is the point. This is why we bring this up. This is why we talk about politics and in the periphery, because, well, there aren't many places where this philosophy exists, and this is a deep-rooted philosophy about the individual. That's what it's all about, right? That's what I was just talking about. That all people should be created equal, and that's it, right? It is a deep-rooted philosophy of autonomy and natural rights and all these other things, right? There's a ton of stuff. We can get into stupidness, right? We could bore the hell out of you with this stuff, but this stuff is important. This stuff is philosophy. This stuff goes back to Plato and Socrates and these guys, like the actual human rights. And it doesn't happen the world over. So it's important. It's one of those things. It's just here we are, and we're sick of it, aren't we? We're sick of being told we have this when we don't, because it's relative sliding scale human rights, and it's sliding the wrong way, and it sucks. It sucks. A few more shout outs here. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, man.
Oh, I was just gonna read some comments too, but
okay, do it.
Yeah,
do
it's
it.
like, what's that? I'm mad and I'm not gonna take it anymore.
We're not gonna take it. Yep.
You know, it also could be like we're just kind of waking up a lot of this stuff because the internet, right? I think it's been kind of sliding for a while. We just didn't know or were aware of it. But now with the internet, it's kind of like in your face more. You're like more exposed to it. So, don't lose all hope. It could be, this could just be a moment where we're working it out. You know what I'm saying? Like we're waking up to this and working it out. I'm a firm believer in like whatever you think it is and whatever you focus on, that's what it'll be. So as a whole, if we think it negatively, that's where we'll be. If you think positive and you think we can overcome this, and you think, you know what I mean? So I always try to, at least at the end, spin it in a positive way. But
let's manifest our best reality, shall we?
Yeah. Let's do some DMT and
I like it.
Manifest some stuff.
I like it. A few more shout outs. What's up, Brandon? Thanks for showing up. We got Larry Kahn. What's up, my man? We got Worf says there's a kid with coronavirus in the city I live in. It's only a matter of time. Yeah, it sucks. And pray for everybody, that's for sure. Let's see. We got Ryan, Brandon. I already said that. We got Joe. What's up? The dream is dead, says Joe. The dream is dead. Justice. Damn. Look at all the pardons. Yeah, the dream is dead. Let's see. Who else am I missing? Yep. Okay, I think that's everybody. On the other side, we got Gibby on Twitch. Thanks for showing up. We got John on YouTube. Who else we got? We got Zach on YouTube. Thanks for showing up, and I think that catches us up. If I missed you, just type where you're listening from in the chat. We'll shout you out as we go. And as always, we do this show live for you. So if you want to be a part of the show, you can just dial this number 702-957-1037. Go to troubledminds.org, the official website, and you can find the Discord link there as well, and you can be on the show either way. So if you have comments on this, if you're sick of the rich people stealing all let's not say stealing. Let's say buying in a, what would you call that? In a transaction, buying the coronavirus stuff early, which isn't available yet, by the way. That's from what we're told. Are we not going to take it? I don't know. Every person has their price, they say. Every alien has their price. I don't know. Anyway, so there we go. Do call us. Let us know what you think about that stuff. And show feedback if you just want to say hi. Whatever. We don't screen calls, so we got time for you if you want to get on here and talk about whatever. Tonight we're going to be talking about DMT, alternate consciousness, the machine elves, and what lies on the other side of our brain when our brain goes dark, or when our brain gains the light, however you want to put it. I guess it doesn't really matter how you put it there, but yeah. What's up, Tamara? Thanks for showing up. We got Chad and Benjamin. There we go. All right, caught up. Okay, so what else do we got news-wise? Let's move on from the ultra wealthy buying the coronavirus early, vaccine early. What do you got?
Let's since we're in sort of dystopian future kind of territory here, I got an article from BusinessInsider.com.
Perfect. Got it.
All right. Elon Musk says he's tested his brain microchip on monkeys, and it enabled one to control a computer with its mind. Here we go. The monkeys.
Oh, yeah. The monkeys.
We had a show before where monkeys were getting herpes and like spreading wildly. Now we're putting computer chips in them. They start controlling our technology.
We got Planet of the Apes
coming,
going on,
guys.
Planet of the Apes, guys. It's yeah. All right. So yeah. So there was a story where we had rampaging monkeys with herpes in Florida, I believe it was, of all places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
God bless
of course.
Florida. I tell you what, Florida has the best news. But yeah, so this is Elon Musk says he's tested his brain microchip on monkeys, and it's enabled one to control a computer with its mind. I don't know. I don't think monkeys should be controlling computers with their mind at this point. Just saying. I mean, maybe people first, or I don't know. Maybe cats and dogs first. I don't know.
Now, I'd be curious to see like monkeys thinking like, so they did an experiment where they gave monkeys money, and as soon as they understood the concept, they would trade money for food, basically, right? So all the males started trading their money to women for sex, and all the female monkeys started hoarding the money to get food.
And in other news, grass is green and the sky is blue. And yes, I mean,
So,
yeah, okay. All
I
right.
want to see monkeys like using mind technology to.
As long
But
as they don't have
yeah,
herpes.
let's get into it. So
As long as they don't have herpes, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Referring to an old article in Florida with the monkeys.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah, the monkeys.
All
that
right,
had
so
herpes.
let's get into
Go
it.
ahead. Go
Elon
ahead.
Musk's neurotechnology company Neuralink has pulled back the veil on its ambitions to implant chips in people's brain. During a QA session at a live presentation Tuesday, Musk surprised Neuralink colleagues by announcing that the firm had tested its technology on monkeys with some success. They're not going to bring up the failure. We can all imagine what happened there. But Musk said a monkey has been able to control a computer with its brain, though he did not elaborate further on what is involved. Yeah, it's probably just like bananas and sex. Like,
In other news.
So Neuralink's president Max Hodak said that he wished the company didn't have to experiment on animals, but that it's a necessary step in the process. So yeah, check out this article, guys. See if there's anything here that you kind of want to learn about. Yeah, it doesn't really talk too much about any more information than that. Just kind of the technology. It's like a brain-computer interface. Elon Musk has been on Joe Rogan before talking about. He basically makes the argument that your phone is kind of like an implant. It's just an external one. It's like you're a cyborg. You use your phone. You use it to do all these things, and because you have the phone, you're more effective and whatever. So he's basically just trying to put the phone in the brain. And yeah, I have mixed feelings about this because I am kind of a tech nerd and I do like that kind of stuff, but yeah, also dystopian future. So what do you think about this, Mike?
I said get in line. Get in line, get your barcode, your implant, and your mark of the beast all in one shot. You may as well just do them all at once. Your real ID that's due by October 2020. Just get it all. Just inject us with all the things. This is stupid. I mean, no. A couple good comments about this. Christian says, we're the monkeys. There you go. So succinct. So perfectly true. We're the monkeys.
Depending on the tone, that could be like a lot of, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of different things that could mean. Yeah, that's deep on so many levels. And then check this out. This is another one from Bailey on YouTube. Bailey says, I helped on a project where Arizona State University was having monkeys control a computer with their minds 10 years ago. I don't know why Elon wants to pretend that this is new technology. There you go. There you go. And the plot thickens. And I guess in the end we are the monkeys, aren't we? Because we listen to these stupid news cycles and these reports by a media we cannot trust and does not have our best interest in mind. How about that? Brandon, what's up? Says I am for augmentations. Okay. All right.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a mixed bag of reaction. Worf says, where can I sign up to be a monkey?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a
done.
good question. Done.
Yeah, got it.
Volunteered. They're going to kick your door in the next 30 minutes. You probably select your last meal. I mean, you don't want to volunteer that quickly. I think probably not. But okay, I guess it's up to you. Okay, so let's move on from this. But I mean, what the hell, right? Like this is we got Bailey saying this is not a new technology. Elon Musk and Tech Insider saying it is, or Business Insider. I don't know. Who do you like? Can you believe the media? I don't think we can believe the media. It just This reports. Notice how cures come for cancer, cures go for cancer in the media, right? Like, oh, this new breaking thing. Guess what? We found a way to stop all of it, and then like you never hear anything from it again, and it just disappears into the ether. So is it bad press, or is it just flat out lies, or is it ridiculous exaggerations, or a mix of all three? We're consuming it like morons. We are the monkeys. There it is. We are the monkeys. Yeah, I don't know. Terrible. All right, we got. Let's move on. Got a couple good comments here. Paul says, "Make sure you wash your hands and carry with you a hand sanitizer at all times." And in other news, I was reading today, and I actually went to verify this because you can't trust anything you read. That hand sanitizer is sold out. It's selling out everywhere. And so I went to check, and sure enough, I couldn't find any hand sanitizer. I went to Costco. I went to some local supermarkets. I couldn't find any. So, confirmed. From boots on the ground, I confirmed it. This is the truth. So check this out. This is reported by TheVerge.com, and this is how to make your own hand sanitizer, right? In the wake of the coronavirus here, washing your hands is how you protect yourself, but this is second best. So if you didn't know, this is pretty cool. I didn't know this. You can combine in a bowl 2/3 cup rubbing alcohol, which is the 99% isopropyl alcohol, and 1/3 cup aloe vera gel. Simple as that, right? 2/3 rubbing alcohol, 1/3 aloe vera gel. Stir, decant into a clean soap or pump bottle. Bam, there's a recipe. You can make your own hand sanitizer. So if your local store is out, then let's go guerrilla, guys. Let's do this. We are the monkeys. Guerrilla warfare, pure L style. Pure L style. I can't even say the brand. Pure L style. I think it should have one L, not two. But there you go. I had no idea you can make this stuff yourself so easily, even with things that probably people won't go for first. So I guess when that runs out, maybe you should just straight rubbing alcohol on your hands. I don't know. Or just take a shot of it. Don't do that. I'm just kidding. It's not the same alcohol. Completely different chemical composition. Don't do that. I'm just kidding. But you get the point, right? Did you know you could do this, Ash? Just go down, grab a couple things and make it yourself?
Oh, I thought you were describing a bomb at first.
No. Not quite. We're not there yet.
Gotta be careful the B word. Huh?
No, we're not there.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I mean, you could just like take showers in it, right? Just rub it all over.
Yeah. In all the dirty spots, the dirty monkey spots. Okay, so because we are the we are the monkeys. We are the monkeys. Remember, back to Christians come out. We are the monkeys. Okay, so let's keep on moving here. We got to get to DMT tonight. So we're talking about all this stuff as always, and we will get to DMT and the machine elves and some other stuff and what Joe Rogan thinks about it, and what some scientists actually think about this. So DMT is on deck. We're going to talk about that tonight and. All of that. So we appreciate your input, and do call if you want to be part of the show tonight and comment on anything thus far. There's your phone number, 702-957-1037. Go to troubleminds.org, click the Discord link, join the show. Bada boom. What do we got next? What's on deck? You want to do Parallel Universe? I think that's by process of elimination. Process of elimination.
Let's do it. So this is a good segue into our main topic, right? So
yes,
this is from thedailystar.co.uk. The parallel universes exist, and we will soon explore them, physicist says. So theoretical physicist Sean Carroll says that clues in the small-scale structure of the universe point to the existence of numerous parallel worlds. So this was quantum physics breaks my mind. So it's really tough for me to digest this and kind of report on it. So I'm just going to read some lines from it and call it a day.
wait, you want to listen to this guy? There's a video. Let's see how this video plays.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
All right, let's play that. Yeah. Don't try and read big words. Let's let the scientists say it. Here we go. Let's see if this plays. Action. Play. Come on, you want to play? No, play.
So Hugh Everett, who was a graduate student when he invented this idea in the 1950s, said, look, when you measure that electron, what happens physically? Like, forget about you're a person, you're conscious, all of that BS. Like, you're a physical system, you obey the Schrodinger equation. You are a quantum mechanical system, you obey the laws of physics. So you look at the electron, your wave function changes. It used to be you're just a person doing whatever you do, but then after you look at the electron, you become entangled with it. And it splits. So there is one part of the wave function that says the electron was spinning clockwise and you measured it spinning clockwise. And there's another part of the wave function that says the electron was spinning counterclockwise and you saw it spinning counterclockwise. Now, everybody knows this. Like that far, it's not controversial at all. That's clearly the prediction of the equations of quantum mechanics. But everyone else said, well, that means that I'm some weird combination of I saw it spinning one way and I saw it spinning the other way, but I've never felt that way. When I look at real electrons, I see them one way or the other. That can't be right. That can't be the final answer. The wave function must somehow collapse. And Everett said, no, what you're missing is there's now two separate worlds. Both of those part of the wave function are real, but they're different worlds. They will never interact with each other again. What happens in one part of the wave function will not affect what happens in the other part. So now there's a version of you that saw the electron spinning clockwise, and there's another version of you that saw it spinning counterclockwise. And that's just taking seriously the prediction of quantum mechanics. It's not adding any extra stuff, any extra worlds, anything like that.
Holy shit. I think that sums it up pretty well, don't you?
I mean, I'm confused just like when it started. So
yeah, exactly.
I mean, right.
It doesn't clear anything up. So there's lots of things happening at the quantum level, which we talk about quite a bit: quantum entanglement, quantum immortality, and what does that mean for individuals like us that supposedly have consciousness and souls, and all these other things and other dimensions? What does that mean? Yeah. Anyway, so this individual thinks we're going to explore this shit soon, doesn't he? He seemed pretty confident.
Yeah. He's talking about particles popping in and out of existence, right? And theoretical physicist Sean Carroll is entirely happy with the quantum level. Okay, so let me read a little bit. At a quantum level, the vanishing tiny particles that make up the building blocks of everything don't even have a set location, just a smear of possible positions dictated by complex rules of probability. The theoretical physicist Sean Carroll is entirely happy with that. He says that the fact that tiny particles like electrons and photons don't have a place in the universe is evidence that there may be many parallel universes. There's a lot more going on. Not every world you imagine would come true. And so yeah, there are still equations, physical rules, patterns that must be obeyed. Some possible alternate worlds can come true, but not all of them. So yeah, it's a pretty advanced concept. It's pretty out there. It also shows that we as a species, we don't really know what the hell we're talking about. We don't really know what we're looking at. What's reality?
Yeah, reality is what you make of it, right? Like I think in the most basic sense, but then of course, once you start doing the science stuff that comes along with it, this is a clusterfuck, isn't it? Like we have no idea what the hell's going on because it seems to all be going on at the same time, and time and space and relativism and all this is crazy. It's crazy. Okay, anyway, so let's move on. Parallel universes coming to a theater near you. Or a lifetime near you. Let's see. I got this other one. It's about it's less fun. Mangrove trees and desalination. That's all you need to know. Whatever. We'll get to that another time because there's such a fantastic segue into DMT, alternate universes here, and what is DMT and all the rest of that. Shall we listen to Joe Rogan first? I think he's the most interesting fellow in this field because he's so enthusiastic about it. What do you think? Let's just
you gotta lead it. Joe Rogan.
Yeah, we're gonna lead with some Joe Rogan.
Let's do it.
He's got some DMT stories. It's the meme, right? Like Joe Rogan and DMT is the meme, and because he's done it and he can explain it. So let's hear what this is all about. And so we're talking about consciousness. We're talking about the veil, as they say, right? The veil, that kind of stepping through the veil into another something, another realm, another something. Anyway, here we go. Let's he's much smarter than me. Let's hear from Joe Rogan. Action.
Oh, DMT. Yeah, it's called dimethyltryptamine. It's produced by your pineal gland. It's actually a gland that's in the center of your brain. It's the craziest drug ever. It's the most potent psychedelic known to man. Literally, but the craziest thing is about it is it's natural. And your brain produces it every night as you sleep. When you sleep, during the time you're in heavy REM sleep and right before human death, your brain pumps out heavy doses of dimethyltryptamine. Nobody knows what sleep is all about. And nobody knows what dreaming is important, why dreaming is important, but dreaming is hugely important. If you don't dream, you'll go fucking crazy and you'll die. And while you're dreaming, while you're in heavy REM sleep, you are going through a psychedelic trip. And very few people know about this, but it's been documented. There's a great book on it called DMT, the Spirit Molecule, by a doctor named Dr. Rick Strassman. And he did all these clinical studies at the University of New Mexico on it. And you take this shit and literally you are transported into another fucking dimension. I don't mean like you feel like you're in another dimension. I mean like you're in another dimension. You're
With
in another
furniture.
dimension where there's no furniture, bro. There's fucking complex geometric patterns moving in synchronous order through the air all around you in three-dimensional space. And it's like they're arteries, except there's not blood pumping through them. There's fucking lights, pulsating lights with no boundaries, and you can't really understand it. And there's an alien communicating with me. And there's a dude who looks like sort of like a Thai Buddha, except he's made entirely of energy, and there's no like outline to him. He's just one thing, and he's concentrating on it, and he's trying to tell me not to give in to astonishment. Just relax and try to experience this. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking shitting me. And I'm a stand-up comedian, because as a stand-up comedian, we pride ourselves in being able to describe things. So I'm like, how the fuck am I gonna talk about this? Because this is insane. Because there's like a beat, it's like, woo-dum, woo-dum, woo-dum. And there's all these fucking complex patterns moving around, and this guy's looking at me in the eye, and I am fucking freaking out. And it lasts for about 5 minutes.
Okay. I should have. I should have said not safe for work warning, hide your children. But most people know that about Joe Rogan, but my bad. I should have pointed that out before we played that clip. So we'll get some more Joe Rogan on the way. A few more clips here of him talking about DMT, dimethyltryptamine. And so you'll know what to expect now, because what was that, that was probably like 0.75 F-bombs per 8 seconds or I don't know. Anyway, I'm not sure what the math is, but it was high. It was definitely high. So there you go. But okay, so DMT. So just like I said, the pineal gland, it's something the body generates. It's something that the body secretes when people die. The brain actually lets this stuff go. For what reason? There, I know you've heard of this. I know. I know we're in a space that you enjoy here, Ash. What do you think about that? Now, just to start this out, to kind of explain what this is and get the story going. What is this all about?
Yeah, I mean, the DMT is, by the way, it is an illegal drug, so it's not a legal substance that you can get a hold of. The alternative to DMT is ayahuasca, which is I think it's something like a more diluted form. And typically, when you do ayahuasca, you'll have you'll go to another culture, and they'll kind of have shamans, like people are experienced with this, and people go on group trips, and they'll trip together with the help of a shaman, kind of guiding you through. And I think ayahuasca is a longer, chill kind of high, like a shotgun to the face, and it's not like, yay, woo, let's party. It's like, the more you take, the more you just kind of die. You just collapse in on yourself. Some people literally fall on themselves and they're just gone. And there's a lot of trippy stuff that happens. I don't get ahead. I'm gonna get there. But, it's pretty
there's a lot here.
Tremendous drug, and it's also natural, right? It's produced in your own brain. It's produced in every living entity on the planet. And panthers were known to be seen when you do DMT, and they find out later that panthers will eat flowers that are have high concentrates of DMT, and they would trip balls. So maybe when you're tripping balls, you meet the panther tripping balls. You both look at each other, and that's where, if you've ever seen Black Panther, there's these spirit panthers there, right? That's where that whole idea comes from. And so it's a pretty incredible thing. It's kind of interesting that it's, as technology progresses and as we become more advanced, our curiosity in a drug that gets you high is like, wait a minute, this shit is doing some stuff. I think this is doing more than we think, right? And so as a species, we're kind of waking up to it. It's pretty interesting. I'm excited. I personally, I've never done it. I don't know about you, Mike. You're out in Vegas. So
No,
I don't know if
I'm
you have
square.
that DMT
I'm
experience.
square as square gets. If it's not legal, I don't do it. And by the way, I can't point this out enough. Ash said that in the beginning there, this is not legal. So don't take this as us condoning illegal activities. Wink, wink. Don't do that. That would be terrible. And obey the laws in your jurisdictions.
Right. I literally don't even know the downsides. Like it could kill you. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. It could kill you. So here we
do
go.
your research and don't do anything illegal.
Don't do drugs, kids. This is your brain on drugs.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here we go. Check this out. This is a link from. We're going to play some more Joe Rogan in just a sec. If you guys are missing the F-bombs already, but here we go. This is from the ncbi.nlm.nih.gov blah blah. But this is what Joe Rogan was talking about. This one of the studies, and so this right from the study here. So the extremely short duration of DMT effects, less than 20 minutes. What's that say? Militates against a single dose administration as the ideal model for such inquiry, using pharmacokinetic. Holy crap, these words are too big. Modeling and DMT blood sampling data, we demonstrate that the unique pharmacological characteristics of DMT, which also include a rapid onset and lack of acute tolerance to subject effects, blah blah. Anyway, I like this. There's a lot of science in here, but this is the actual Strassman report that he was just actually citing. So I thought it was important to look at this, read some of this, and see what's going on. These words are way too big for me. Maybe not for you, so probably not for you guys. Read this up. And if you're interested in this and see what's going on. But it talks about psychological intolerance of full psychedelic doses of this stuff. It administered intravenously. So, I mean, so it can be done with injection. You can smoke this stuff. You can ingest it. Like there's a lot of different ways you can take this. Like Ash said, it's a mix of ayahuasca. When you drink it, there's a ton here. And here's the actual report that he had. The Strassman report, right? This is from 2000. What's the year here? 2014. So 2016, July 14, 2016 is when this was published. So it's a model for the application of target-controlled intravenous infusion for a prolonged immersive DMT psychedelic experience. Just the title is a mouthful. But you guys get it. I did link it, and you guys can check it out if you want to see more. We, of course, have the Wikipedia here, the Ministry of Truth version, but we don't want that. We want to hear what the doctors say. So there it is. And if you guys want to know what the Strassman report is that Joe Rogan talked about, bam, there it is right in front of you, linked. Now you know what to do. You can, yeah. Did I link it? Yeah, I linked it. Okay.
Look at you. You're so prepared.
I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. Okay, so let's so there we go. There's Joe Rogan talking about the Strassman report. There's the link, and let's hear a little more Joe Rogan on what he thinks about DMT and where this leads, right? Where the consciousness blending, moving into other realms, where it heads. Joe Rogan part 2. Not safe for work warning that I missed the first time. Actually.
When you're doing this every night when you go to sleep, when you have heavy REM sleep, nobody understands why we have to do that. It's never been figured out. But when you're doing it, you don't remember any of that experience. Well, the heavy doses that they gave people in clinical trials with the Strassman studies, the heavy doses produced the most profound effects, but nobody remembered them. There was no memory of it whatsoever.
That's what Doug
much
said.
like you have when you go to sleep every night and then you wake up. Everyone dreams, everyone has DMT trips, and no one remembers it. Now, if you smoke it, it doesn't last nearly as long. It only lasts about 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, but you remember it, but very fleeting. It's like a dream. Like after the dream is over, you got to write it. I remember it because I recorded it. I had a tape recorder and I had a video camera. And when I came out of it, I just started talking about it like right away, as much as I could remember. But even like 30 seconds after I talked about it, I was like, man, how did it go? What happened? It's not like an experience like your brain is trying to protect you from that experience. And the bigger the dose, the more your brain protects you. It literally shuts it off. It's like a shutdown valve. And it happens to you every night, man.
Happens to you every night. So it's part of the dream cycle, part of REM sleep, and that's what Joe Rogan's all about. Bailey says that half of ayahuasca is DMT, the other half allows your body to intake it orally, which is that drink that we were talking about, ayahuasca, which is a trippy thing in and of itself, where people it's like a ritual thing. They ingest the ayahuasca together in groups, and then for whatever reason, if you separate them after the trip and interview them, they all explain they had the same experience. So explain that to me. Alex Jones was talking about that. Like that's creepy, right? So either they're crossing over into the same place and having the same thing, or there's somebody in the group that maybe has some sort of mental capacity that's is somehow the strongest trip is a brainwave kind of sending it into the other people, and so they all share the experience. I don't know. Like there's two thoughts that I have. I have no idea otherwise, because who the hell knows, right? I think this is one of those mystery drama, mystery science theater type things. I don't know. I really have no idea. But you've heard of that, right? The ayahuasca, the trips together, and the sharing the same experience on the other side. You've heard of all that, right? Ashley. Testing 1 2. Don't make me bust out the ash jokes.
Oh no. Okay. Ooh, that was close.
You all right?
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I was
That's all right.
You know, just killing some animals around here to find to eat. I was
Okay.
still hungry.
You're loud.
You know, these Mars lizards are pretty fast. But actually, I just had like this profound thought. Maybe it's not profound, but it's the first thought I ever had. If you look at the Anunnaki drawings, there's this like they're putting a pine cone into something, right? And the theory is that the Anunnaki had installed this pineal gland into humans. It's almost as if like whatever, it's like we want to be able to maintain you guys, do maintenance, you know? So when you go to sleep, you have dreams, you can download your data or interact with the other realm, these realms, these places, and yeah, maybe it's like a software that's installed into all of us, and we just utilize it. And when we're tripping together and we're taking high doses, right? Like, and we're conscious, it kind of has an effect that it wasn't meant to, where we're kind of aware of this interaction. So I don't know. That's kind of like, I don't know. You know, you start putting these things together, and you come up with an idea, and maybe you nailed it, or maybe it's bullshit.
Wait, so are you saying that like
right?
that somehow maybe this connects us as a species, as people aren't individuals really? We're really one collective that maybe like the Borg, maybe like a hive mind that's some sort of spiritual hive mind, right? Is that kind of what you're saying here? That there's some sort of maybe alternate level of our own reality we can't even perceive in a conscious level, and it's really what's controlling us. Is that kind of what you're saying? Because if that's what you're saying,
I mean, I keep hearing in these new age movements and all these things that there's like a greater consciousness that we're all kind of connected to, and we'll get into it, but there's a connection to near death experiences, and a parallel between souls, and it's tough. It's like, what is this stuff? And it's kind of cool that science is starting to pay attention, right? You know, I have an article here. It's by Gaia. It's scientists want to know more about DMT entities and people encounter, and we'll get to that later. But it just shows that, you know, people. I've heard of. I think Alex Jones talked about this, but he was saying, or maybe it was Joe Rogan, that there's they're looking to map the DMT realm. Basically, people get high as crap, and they try to kind of like come back with as much data as possible. And it's really fascinating. Even if it's just a view into the psychology of our own minds, right? Maybe it's a placebo. It's a pretty badass placebo. It's pretty interesting. So,
it seems to be consistent. Seems to be consistent. So what I was setting you up for, because I think you were coming to you hadn't heard this Joe Rogan clip, but I think he was coming to a similar conclusion there. I want to point this out real quick. Christian in chat and let's see, Paul also said, also known as the third eye. And what about the third eye? So we're talking about the pineal gland here and the third eye, and we can get into chakras and Reiki. How do you say it? We could talk about that stuff another time. It kind of is related in the periphery, but we don't have time to get into every tangent that rolls up. But we can talk about that in another show. But here we go. So let's hear what Joe Rogan has to say about this as he finishes out. Again, Joe Rogan. So F-bomb alert. and hide your children. And here we go, action. A couple more, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty dirty of the chemicals here and some other stuff about DMT. So action.
Everybody in their life, if you live, and you haven't had a heavy psychedelic experience and you haven't gone in an isolation tank, you've missed out. You've missed out on a huge chunk of what life really is. Life is a massive fucking mystery, and there's only a few different ways to really crack below the surface of that mystery, and the best way is psychedelics. And the heavier the psychedelic, the better. And guess what? No one's dying from psychedelics. All our thoughts on psychedelics are all based on bullshit propaganda that we heard about people, going crazy or losing their minds on it. You're not going to go crazy. You're going to go fucking sane. All right? All that stuff is going to remove your ego, and it's going to explain to you what the world is really all about and cuddle all the surface areas of...
What is the world really about?
We're bacteria. That's what it's about. You ever fly over
Shaka.
Earth?
Hold on. Look at Shaka is so excited. Hold on, Chris.
We're energy.
Anything? This is your write-up. Shaka's out.
Keep going, bro. I'm a student right now.
Can we get some Shaka music for Rogan and Shaka?
You want to get really crazy about what humans are all about, all right? And it's not necessarily, look, there's great things in us, and there's beauty in people, and there's, babies are cute and shit like that. But when you get past that, a lot of what that stuff is biological tricks that are all set up to make sure that we keep perpetuating the species, keep moving this thing forward. Now, why does a species want to move forward? Why does technology move forward? Why do we keep inventing new weapons, and why do we keep inventing new crazy cell phones? What is this thirst for innovation? What's this all about? Well, this is what I think. If you fly into LA, all right, you're going over those mountains, man. You see these beautiful fields and shit, and then all of a sudden you see LA. If you looked at the Earth as a living organism, you would look at LA and you go, that's fucking cancer. Right. That's like a growth. What is that? What is that shit? There's some weird shit growing there, and it's got brown smoke coming out of it, and it fucking stinks.
And it's killing
getting
all the
bigger,
trees, and
it's getting bigger, and it's getting bigger every year. Well, why is it getting bigger? And why do people just keep fucking having kids constantly? What is this all about? Well, I think that it's our purpose. Much like how yeast makes bread rise or mold takes over a fucking sandwich. I think that's what people do. I think we're just a very complicated form.
You catch that? That's kind of what you were saying, right? But kind of not in those terms, because he has this way of saying things, doesn't he? With the F-bombs and that bullshits and this and that, and then equating people to bacteria. Just kind of, it forms cancer on the earth. I mean, whew, like he's got a way of saying things, but how about that? How about that?
Like what if there's on higher dimensions or other places where, and we've talked about this, where things exist, and then in this reality, this is like a more physical reality where we're kind of programmed to do things like them, to have functions, to, you could, I was on vacation in Asia, and I was in Malaysia, and I was standing on a balcony looking out, and there was all these like resorts. I'm like, damn, look at all these people doing stuff. I'm like, this is crazy. Like building buildings, and it just seems like, like humans are really good at this, right? Like getting shit done, building stuff, and it's like, could there be gods on the other end, and they came in here and they make sure that we can still have a bridge, and they can influence us from the other dimension, and we just do things on their behalf. We just execute our software. Yeah, that's it. I guess that's kind of like right in the same line this as Joe Rogan was saying.
Ish, except he calls bacteria spreading cancer to the earth to convince ourselves that babies are cute. I mean, yes, right? Yes. So I don't know. Like I think there's multiple levels here. We get a call. We'll take in just a sec. I hear you there. If you're on the phone, I know you can hear us. So just hang tight. We'll take you just a sec. But the point is, right, is that we don't know, do we? And so there's multiple levels of our consciousness that there's the physical realm, there's the spiritual realm, there's everywhere in between. There's places we don't know yet. There's the quantum realm, there's the entanglement, there's the immortality, there's all these things, right? And suddenly, when it all comes together, science and spirituality, they kind of come together. It doesn't seem too far off anymore, in my opinion. It just seems that the more you push, the more we find out scientifically that the smaller things get, quarks and this and that, and then the Higgs boson, and on and on and on. They're like smaller and smaller, and the smaller things get, the less predictable they are. And like the scientist said there in the beginning, that the segue to the story here is that like one spins left and one spins right, but both exist. Like we're actually observing and measuring two things that do opposite things, but they both exist at the same time. It's bizarre. It's crazy. It's a crazy world. It's a crazy to be human. We got some good comments we'll read, but as always, you can call just like this individual right here. I think this is our friend Juan Carlos from California. What's up, Juan Carlos? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and Ash. How you doing, my man?
Oh, what's up, guys? How you guys doing? I'm good.
Pretty good. What's on your mind tonight?
What's up, Carlos?
Oh no, not just. Hey, what's up, man? So I just started listening right now, and I don't know. I was thinking of a couple of things because, I'm on this journey, same as most of us that obviously on this radio station. We're not the type that think that this is what life is about, just fucking working your ass off and making a family, and then you die, and then it keeps happening. Like I'm looking for when are we supposed to fucking experience this utopia, explore it where fucking doctors, scientists are going to be paying what these NBA singers are making. Is like our whole fucking world is upside down. And basically what you guys were talking about, and I would just what I've read and what I've seen, and I don't believe everything, but I read in between the lines and try to get take in what makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
on that topic, I look at it like this world, this realm that we're in, this dimension. It's just like they say, we're on this frequency, and that's why things are solid or something. Everything is vibrating, regardless. It might be a rock, anything. Everything has a vibration, and we're all basically, this is the matrix. We're all connected. We're all one. We're all God. We're all everything. And I think even that has to do even maybe with those trips of taking on DMT, that maybe everybody sees the same thing because we are the same thing. We're all together. We're as one. It's like, I don't know if you guys from like the quantum physics and everything, how everything you see this empty space all around you, which to us, we think it's nothing. There's nothing there, right? Nothing but air. There's no space. But like scientists have proved, if you look it up, there's all this. There's things, this web kind of, this field kind of vibration where I think we're all part of it. We're just vibrating different, and it's just like we're on this dimension, and maybe we sometimes have that little glitch, where we could cross over to the next dimension and speak to these spirits, to these ghosts, or whatever people want to call them.
Yeah, I think what you're talking about there is it's a philosophical concept called panpsychism, and so it basically states that everything is conscious. Everything is kind of works together in conjunction, whether it's a rock or a tree or a dead piece of wood, a fossil or whatever. Whatever it is, it has some level of consciousness or energy. Let's say that exchanges energy with others, living beings, dead, but there's no dead. Everything's alive, and it gets confusing as hell. And you know what has that thought has a bizarre parallel, doesn't it, to like Star Wars and the Force, right? Like kind of penetrates all living things, binds the universe together, right? Same sort of language, right?
Hey, bro, but believe it or not, I think I never watched the full Star Wars. I think not even the first one. Star Wars was never my thing.
Yeah, no, okay, do it. This is perfect. So take this conversation, peel off some time, and go watch the first Star Wars, Episode 4. There's a conversation in there where they talk about exactly that, and it's even the words I just used, and he says exactly those things. So I mean, like these are old philosophies, which are kind of brought back new again with science and quantum mechanics and these other things, right? But like I said, science and spirituality don't seem to be that different anymore, do they? We're kind of in the mix of the two, and wondering where we belong, I guess.
Yeah, isn't it like
yeah?
I forget which culture it was. Monks. They would like, if they like broke a bowl, they would mourn the passing of that object, like its existence was like ended, and that it had some sort of consciousness, and I believe that everything had a life. And yeah, I forget. It was a Buddhism, or do you know?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not the most learned religious guy, but The thing is, I believe that. So it's they kind of more in the passing of objects as they, they had a use, and now when their use is no longer valid because they're broken, they're no longer, quote, alive, right? Because of what they were, they no longer can be. I understand it. I get it. Like, I get the philosophy there. It's pretty nuts. Pretty nuts that we're in the middle of that. And again, like I said, trying to figure out who we are. Kind of big questions here. But yeah, definitely good stuff.
Yeah, don't even the Chinese believe that even in robots, if they build a robot, they believe that it has like a conscience or something like that. I read before. I'm not sure if you guys have read that. But
Yeah,
that's what they thought, or their belief.
Yeah, it's coming. I mean, that stuff is definitely coming. And I mean, they tried to build that stuff back in history, just like you said. So I mean, it's hard to say, man. Like lining it all up. There's so many data points here, and I think that's the scariest part, right? There's so much information, and we're only we can only accumulate so much of it in a lifetime. We can only really have so many of these conversations in a lifetime, and I think in the end we're destined to not know. But I think the closer we get, maybe in some way it helps us out. And yeah, here we are. Hopefully helping somebody out somewhere down the line. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
I had another thing I wanted to input right quick before I let you guys go. About the pineal gland. You know, all that basically, I haven't really been reading up on the chakras and all that, but just like simple things that you notice from the body and stuff like that, it all makes sense for certain things like that to, like, trust me, I want to try ayahuasca one day, and because I see the world for what it is, so I'm not into this much. I try to get dogma, everything out that all your what you want to call it, all your demons, basically, you got to get them out. You got to get them out, even though you might think you don't. Everybody has demons that they got to deal with, and I've been trying to deal with mine, and pretty soon I would think I'll try ayahuasca, and for the chakras, for that point, because I guess that's one way, right, or to basically achieve that type of enlightenment. Because what do they say? They say each cell generates something 7 or 0.7 something volts, and we have trillions of fucking cells times that's fucking, I don't know, it's a high ass number of fucking electricity we produce. And they say, if you could harness that energy, you could heal yourself, you could communicate, you could do a lot of things. And I haven't really been up on it, but I've been reading little here and there, because like I said, there's a vast majority, a lot of information out there that a lot of people take the internet for granted and looking up stupid videos, when in reality they should be trying to inform themselves while they can, because as far as we go, this pretty soon, one day, if people are still as naive as to what's going on, we're going to be turned just like China, and everything's going to be censored, and they're not going to show us any of the truth no more, and your rights are going to be taken away. So people need to inform themselves, because like they say, how's the saying goes, if you don't know, or how does it go? If you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it, or something like that.
Yeah, it's well said. Well said. Yeah, exactly. That's the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah,
man.
you made a good point where I think there's a lot of people who kind of go through their life and they kind of look towards psychedelics as almost like a way to reset, right? To kind of there's a spiritual aspect of going on a journey and having these experiences, but they've also found with psychedelics, with your brain, it actually will help you kind of reset back to that default state of when you were a kid, where you can kind of learn and unlearn patterns. And it's just nice. It's like I have a friend who's been working for a long time, grinding it out. He's made good money, and he's still got that brain. It's like stressed out from being working, whatever. So he's been kind of leaning on psychedelics, and it's kind of helped him reset himself, be able to enjoy life again, like from that kind of perspective.
Like
so it's super common. It's an interesting point.
Like maybe changing it like a vibration there. Sounds like, like almost a spiritual thing instead of like a physical thing.
Yeah.
Well, you
know
what? I mean, even,
right?
You know what, like that makes sense, because you know how they say, when you're a kid, you're still having, this type of indoctrination hasn't been in you. You know, you're not learning things of what to do, what to be, how to do, talk, and everything. And your mind is just open. You're just on that pureness. And you know what? Like kids that I notice, especially I know I'm pretty sure if people are there listening, they probably have the same, or even that happened to them as kids. But like I've noticed a couple of my nephews, my sisters, like they were when they were kids. Like it didn't happen to me, but or else I'm pretty sure I remember. But like we would catch them sometimes like following, like looking up at the, like in the room, like just looking at something, like something going around. Or like one of my nephews, we caught him like talking to somebody, and then as he grew up, he just grew up out of it, and we never heard that about him. And the day we brought it up, he just didn't want to talk about it. But that, like they say, when you're small, you're a kid, you see these beings, these energies, these, you know, I'm pretty sure I've seen videos too online of kids like getting moved around by these type of energies, or these somebody pulling or grabbing by the arms, or things that are just like not like you see in the video that it wasn't meant that child for his arm to get yanked straight out or things like that. So I think when you're a child, you kind of have that sense where you could see these type of energies before your mind gets corrupted with all this bullshit, basically.
Yeah, it seems that's the case, huh? Like there's a lot that we know as babies that we have to unlearn to become humans, to become adults, and then we spend our entire life trying to relearn what we knew as babies. It's crazy. It's a crazy life. It's a crazy world out there. I tell you what. Anything else while we got you on the phone, Juan Carlos? You're the best, my man.
That's it, you guys. I just wanted to have a little talk with you guys because it's nice. You know, I always have these type of talks with my brother, and I always tell him, man, we should even fucking record these, because we get into it some, like a lot of deep stuff. Like just because I bring it up to him, he understands where I'm like what I tell him makes sense. Like he's like, everything you're saying is true. Like I just show him facts, this and that, and he, you know, he's on my same mindset. So we have some deep conversations, and it's nice, you know, to talk to another person like-minded that understands, and, you know, can see, you know, your point of view and throw their input on it. So yeah, it's nice talking to you guys.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here. Appreciate that. Juan Carlos from California. Like I said, you are the best. I do not exaggerate. Thank you for the call. Anything to wind that up there, Ash?
No, thanks for calling, Carlos. Yeah, it's nice to have these deep conversations, right, about life, because you go throughout your day. Sometimes I'll just look at my desk and I'm like, what is this? You know, what do I live in? And you know, you get caught up with work and different and being a human, in my case reptilian. But what does it all mean, Basil? You know? And it gets tough, and sometimes you go a little crazy, right? And so it's good that you have someone to talk to, Carlos, and grateful to have you come on and have this deep conversation with us. Yeah, it's good.
Agreed, 100%. Agreed. We got a couple of follow-ups to the conversation here. Brandon on Facebook says that you were speaking about Shinto, he believes, where everything has a soul, even inanimate objects. He's talking about breaking the bowl there. So maybe that was the Shinto. There we go.
Thanks,
thank
James. You guys always bailing me out.
See, exactly. Everybody works on bailing me out too. You can only know so much, right? We're only just a couple dudes. Joanne says, now this is important too. Joanne says, got a couple great comments. The teachings of the Buddha are aimed solely at liberating sentient beings from suffering. The basic teachings of Buddha, which are core to the Buddhism, are 1, the 3 universal truths, 2, the 4 noble truths, and the noble eightfold path. Then she continues, Buddhist ethics and ethical teachings. There are several ethical teachings that govern how Buddhists behave. These teachings impact Buddhists' daily life and tell them how they can change their future through their actions in the present. So it continues with karma and some other really good stuff here. So if you guys are into that, again, there's more. This is deep. This goes deeper than just a Eastern or Western philosophy, or this kind of takes humanity into one huge group. You know, kind of like Joe Rogan said, like we're all the same bacteria, right? we share the same cancer that we're building on the earth, and so good, bad, or indifferent, right? It's one of those things that we do share. And there's a lot of ways to look at it, a lot of philosophies and a lot of disciplines that can maybe make us to maybe ascend us to a higher plane of consciousness, a higher plane of with spirituality, and maybe make us not become a cancer anymore. Maybe it's not become bacteria. I don't know. Again, like these questions are bigger than me. Of course, everybody knows that. It's bigger than all of us, and it's why that's fascinating to talk about. So great comments, great call. You guys are amazing. Again, just like that. That's why we do it live. See that? Juan Carlos called from California. He calls often, and you too can call. 702-957-1037. There's a phone number. That's a Las Vegas area code. And you can join the Discord. That would be free. It's a free download, and it's free to get on the show. It's how Ash and I do the show. It's how we've always done the show, and it's a free thing. We're not paying long distance or any of that. So go to troubledminds.org. You can find the phone number and the Discord link, and join the show. And that's why we do it live, to include you guys. So thanks again for the call. Thanks for all that thoughtful chat. Let's go. Let's keep trucking. We got a couple more quick Joe Rogan stuffs, and then we'll move on to some of the maybe as the brain dies, it finds a way to emit DMT. So let's see what Joe says about the last bit here. Again, not safe for work warnings. Hide the children from the F-bombs. Here we go. Action.
Which is very complicated form of bacteria. And all our thoughts on ourselves, it's all just biological tricks to keep your ego alive, to keep your biology alive, to make sure you keep perpetuating this fucking thing, to make this human organism, this one gigantic organism, keep growing. When you look at like mold on a sandwich, you don't look at individual mold spores with individual identities and jobs and careers. You look at a pile of fucking mold, you know? And that's what people are, man. We just think we're individuals. We're not. We're one collective group. We can't even be away from each other. We get lonely. For punishment in prison, they take you away from other people. Other fucking prisoners! Wouldn't that be the best thing, dude? Keep me the fuck away from the prisoners. No, that's punishment, dude. We need people so badly that if you put us in a room with no scumbags and murderers, we get sad.
Bro, I missed you.
Dude, that was fucking huge.
But it's crazy. But this is it all relates to the DMT world. This is what I think. Every night when you go to sleep, you trip for 8 hours, and you need that. You have to have it, and your body has to have it. You owe that to the grid. Well, I think the whole reason why people are alive, I think there's two consciousness. There's a dream consciousness and there's a waking consciousness. And this dream consciousness might be more real than the waking consciousness. That might be what our whole biology is about. And this whole complex system of fucking social order and, predetermined patterns of behavior and cultural traditions and all that shit might just be ways to effectively move along the breeding process and make sure we keep adding more to the grid. More people, more animals, more babies, save the whales. We're just trying to save energy. We're trying to contribute more to this dimethyltryptamine grid that you see every night when you sleep, but you can't remember.
I think it's safe to say that Joe Rogan is way ahead of us. Way ahead of us. That's some sick thoughts there, eh? Did you catch that?
Well, I mean, or out in left field.
Yeah, that's true. maybe that's the case too.
He was friends with Alex Jones before Alex Jones was, I would say, cool to be friends with. Alex Jones used to talk about mole people into the ground, and he was really, everyone just thought it was kind of a joke, kind of laughed, and but he was friends with him through thick and thin. And I could only imagine the kind of conversations they used to have, like if Joe Rogan's like this, smoke some weed and woo, let it rip.
Seriously. And again, how do you guys feel about this? Like what level of conscious beings are we? Conscious, unconscious, dimensional? Like who knows? These are the things, right? Like these are thousands and thousands of years back to the dawn of humanity, when we created writing and religion and passing on stories and trying to figure out what the heavens mean in relation to us and our souls and. Do we have souls, and on and on? I mean, big questions, guys. These are big questions. So, and these are the types of things that you get to when you start talking about DMT, because your brain kind of crosses those lines, those lines of reality that we've drawn for ourselves. Like Joe Rogan was saying, that we end up in this spot, in this space that we've created for ourselves. It's a giant illusion, and so when you step across through the veil, as they say, what do you learn? Do you become something different? Is that the entire point, is to step out of the illusion? Who knows? Crazy stuff here.
We got some good comments here.
Go ahead.
Let's see here. Christian said, now that we're older, we don't have to be a kid anymore. It's a good thing. Sometimes it's good. Yeah, I think like when quick story. When I was a kid, I knew that karma was a function of reality. I knew that karma was a thing. No one really taught it to me. I just knew that was the truth. So I knew if I was good, then good things might come to me, right? And I just knew that inherently as a kid. And I just thought about that like a couple of years ago. I'm like, what? Who the hell? No one told me that. So it was just kind of a weird thing. And it's almost like, yeah, if your soul comes here to this realm, you start to forget, like from a dream, right? You can't quite remember, and over time you forget everything. Um, yeah, and then like Mike said, we spend our lives trying to remember all that stuff, right? So a few more good comments. Ryan says, counter to Joe, we're not mold. Rogan's a shill.
Solid take.
We are
solid take.
we are self-replicating biochemistry sets that are controlled by a biological quantum processor with a hidden Wi-Fi neural network. Oh, yeah, of course. No, actually, hold on, let me digest this comment. This comment's really good. We are self-replicating biochemistry sets, right? So we're humans that want to bang, reproduce. We have instincts. They're controlled by a biological quantum processor, our brain, with a hidden Wi-Fi neural network. I guess that's the brain electricity, or maybe he's talking about our connection to the DMT realm. Who knows? Good comment, really good stuff.
Lots of good comments tonight. Great call, Carlos. Again, if you guys want to be part of this show and you have thoughts on this, on the ayahuasca, the DMT, where does our brain go when we cross over into that whatever that other realm is? How does it make you feel? How is it spiritual? Is it chemical? Is it somewhere in between? Is it quantum mechanical? Is it just a big jumble of who the fuck knows? That's what we're talking about.
That's where we always end up, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Who knows? Well, we're not here with answers. We're here with you guys to ask some questions. So, again, I'm gonna put the phone number 702-957-1037. You can join the Discord. Go to troubledminds.org. That's the official website, and you can be on the show. We do this live because we want to include you, because we know you have many amazing things to teach us as well and to share with everybody else. So that's why we do it this way. And there's the phone number, and there we go. So here's the thing. So we went just a smidge long on kind of getting this started. So let's do go ahead and start the near death stuff real fast. I'll put up an article real quick. I gotta step away for 1 sec because my beer is dry, and that's just a tragedy at this point.
Oh man, that's
so I'm gonna you tell the article. I'll put it up. I'm gonna go grab a beer real quick and we'll start. So we got to get through it fast, because if we don't, we will miss the machine elves, and we got to get to the machine elves. Part, right? So yeah, that's the best part. That's totally the best part. Okay, so we're gonna go through exactly the aliens in the other realm, right? Whatever they happen to be. So we'll get to that. Let's plow through the near-death experience part, and then we'll get to machine elves and whatever that means. Again, we're looking forward to you guys joining us. So 702-957-1037 Discord. You can join that way. Troubledminds.org, the official website. You can find both on the top right of the website. That's it. That's what we do. That's why we do it. We don't have answers. We have questions, and we're here to ask them. So let's look into the question of near-death experiences. Which article you want as I step away?
The independent.co will segue into the near-death experience, and then we'll talk about a few of them.
You got it, buddy. And you're on. I'll be right back.
Thank you. So while Mike gets his emergency beer, which is super important, this is from the independent.co.uk. Potent psychedelic drug DMT makes there's a stupid ad in the way. It's the worst. Makes the brain think it is dying, study finds. So the psychedelic drug DMT produces an effect in the brain similar to that felt by people undergoing near-death experiences, according to a new study. So the drug is illegal in most countries, and its connection with spirituality is widely acknowledged and has earned its name, the spirit molecule. The near-death experiences, or NDEs, a lot of people like to shorten it, are psychological events often reported by those who think they are about to die. It can include out-of-body experiences, feelings, or transitions to another world and inner peace. As similar feelings are often reported by DMT users, researchers at Imperial College London wanted to investigate how deep the connection between these experiences went. In a trial of 13 healthy volunteers, doses of either drug or placebo were administered intravenously over the course of 2 sessions. So basically, they wanted to find out, okay, DMT has a lot of parallels with near-death experiences, and I'll show some of those in a second. And they wanted to see like, what is this? Is there a connection? And so they went to go gather data. They did some trials, and yeah, so they found that their reactions to the drug were then compared with the experiences of 67 people who had previously reported near-death experiences, and completed standardized questionnaires to document what happened to them. So yeah, they just moving along here. Yeah, so they basically kind of confirmed our findings show a striking similarity between the types of experiences people are having when they take DMT and people who have reported a near-death experience. Yeah, so basically they found tons of correlations. There's so much overlap, and this begs the question: like, are we when we take DMT? Is it similar? Are we leaving our bodies? Is it the same function? Is it the same thing as when you dream, as when you die? And they also found that when you do die, your brain releases a shit ton of DMT, almost to kind of let you pass. So let's keep moving on here.
I'm with you.
The next
What do
part
you need?
is how near death experiences work. So let's describe a near death experience. So let's talk about the parallels between the two. So we're at science.howstuffworks.com. Mike, are you back?
Yes, sir. You got it, buddy. I got your article up. I'm following you. You got it.
Thanks, man. So let's blow through some of these bullets here. So this is like a sciencey kind of website, and what they found is that near-death experiences can't be written off. They can't be explained away by science. I mean, they can to some degree. They have some evidence, but they're theories. You can't prove it one way or another. It's like that whole, you know, that whole argument of having faith, whereas you can't prove it right, but you can't prove it wrong. So let's talk about some of the parallels. Well, let's talk about the experiences you have when you have a near-death experience, right? So you'll see an intense, pure, bright light. You'll have an out-of-body experience where the subject feels that he's left his body. He can look down and see it, often describing the sight of doctors working on them. And we do have a story we'll talk about shortly that's really interesting. Entering into another realm or dimension, huh? Starting to lock up, right? Starting to match up here.
Makes some sense.
Depending on the subject's beliefs, religious beliefs, and the nature of their experience, he may perceive his realm or heaven, cases hell. And I know we have some more information on. We'll get into nitty gritty of like what people see when they go into these DMT realms. A lot of times they see spirit beings, right? Like family members, deceased people they know, beings, Satan, Jesus. They experience a tunnel, or the whole stay away from the light, carry in. Stay away from
the old Exorcist, if anybody's seen that, or not Exorcist, Poltergeist, the original Poltergeist.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I went back and watched it. It's pretty good. Holds up.
It's creepy as hell.
Yeah, it is pretty creepy. But yeah, here, communication with spirits, right? Many subjects report communication with a spirit being, often expressed as a strong male voice, telling them that it is not their time and to go back to their body. And some people have like a life review. You see this in movies where they kind of go back and see their whole life flash before their eyes. I've had this happen where I thought I was going to die, and my brain quickly reviewed my life, and I was okay. But I've never had an experience like that before. It was kind of crazy. It was like my brain was quickly trying to index as much of my life as it can before I pass.
Like to say, life passing before your eyes. Yeah. That's definitely the old death trope, right? The people that come back from near-death experiences, they have that life passed before your eyes. Crazy. So it's a thing.
Yeah,
it's a thing. You concur.
A thing.
You concur.
When you kind of experience these things, you're like, oh, it does change you. It's like, holy shit, that's possible. It's not a part of your day to day. So, yeah, take a look at this article. They have way more information. But we're gonna move on. They did. Yeah, they did have some more information. A statistical analysis of more than 100 near-death experience subjects revealed that prior religious beliefs, prior knowledge of near-death experiences did not have a appreciable effect on likelihood of having a near-death experience. So that's an important thing. It's like if you're religious, you know what I mean? If you're spiritual and your brain goes to hallucinate, you're going to be like, oh, here comes Jesus, right? Here comes Buddha. And then your mind would fulfill the prophecy of that belief. But what they found was that's not the case, right? They found that you could just believe in nothing and then have this tremendous experience. I think that's a really important distinction to make. You know what I mean, Mike?
Yeah, like something's there, whether you believe it or not. It almost doesn't matter. Like we're hardwired to find the light. You can Carol Ann, stay away from the light. Whatever it is, right? Like we're hardwired to somehow either find this or retract from it, and in like a visceral way, in like a fight or flight way. Like we can't even control it ourselves. Like whatever it is, whatever we happen to be tipping towards, yeah, it makes sense to me that there's like you would think that I've used this analogy quite a lot. It's like if you take a dog and like he's like born and he's like the tiny little egg baby. He's tiny. He can't do anything. You like nurse him with a bottle. He's never been around any other dogs his whole life. He's born a dog. Right, but you nurse him with a bottle until he can eat dry food, and then finally, when he's doing it, he's acting like a dog. He knows how to act like a dog. He's lift his leg. He pees like a dog. When he gets around other dogs, he knows how to act with other dogs, even without actually spending any time doing that. It's like it's hardwired into us somehow, into our DNA, into the millions of years of what we were and how we became this. But it's beautiful to see, and like because a dog is a beautiful thing to me. Like the dogs are better than people, in my opinion, right? Because it's like they ooze love, like that's kind of what dogs are. They're just loyal to it to a fault, and that's it. And so like it's a hardwired. They know how to be who they are, and so you can't not be who you are. Our DNA makes us who we are. But then I think that's just on the physical level. I think on a spiritual level, it's very similar. I think we end up in the same sort of we travel to or from these places by what would you say? By instinct. It's like a spiritual instinct, I guess you could say. Again, like me being ignorant of the thing, it seems like that might be a thing. Just kind of discussing it. But yeah, there we go. I think there's a thought.
It's like your spirit. It's like kind of like if you have brothers and sisters, sometimes you'd be like, damn, I can't. He's always been that way, or she's always been that way. That's just kind of, you can almost like, it's really with your family. That's their soul. You could look back and see like, oh, okay, he didn't have a good relationship with his mom or whatever, but that's just part of the equation, right? You can kind of get a feel for someone's soul. And you ever meet someone, like even a kid who has like an old soul? You know what I'm saying? Like a really mature kid for no reason. They just have wisdom beyond their years, or you'll meet an adult who's got a young soul. It's
yeah
it's interesting.
Yeah, I've been told I have an old soul, and I don't even know what that means. It's weird to me. It's weird to hear that, but I just don't know what that means. Like I can kind of maybe guess, but I don't know. Weird stuff. Great comment. What's up? Thomas says that. So we are hardwired to see dogs as better than humans. I happen to agree, he says. I happen to agree.
Can't argue with that.
Exactly. It's hard to argue with that. If you're a dog lover, you understand exactly. You're speaking our language. Okay, so all right. So near-death experience. So that the pineal gland dumps the DMT into the brain, and it like has some way to leap us out of this off this mortal coil, they say, into some other realm, right? It's almost like it kicks us out. It kicks us out of the body, right? It kicks the spiritual being out of the body into that next realm. Weird, like it's built in to do that part, to be that part, to that the old ghost of Christmas past trope where the body comes out, right? Like the body comes out and does its thing in the ghost world. Like it's weird, man. Like it's weird how all this stuff kind of syncs together. The synchronicity, pretty crazy.
Yeah, and that's important. That's important to me. As we do this show and as people talk, we start to put things together, and I want to figure it out. That drives me crazy. But yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of like the DMT kicks you out, and then you being dead never pulls you back in. But when you have a near-death experience, right, you get kicked out, but then your body comes back online and drags you back in. It's almost like your body must have a really powerful. If we're talking about this, right? If we're entertaining this idea, your body must have like a really powerful antenna or a powerful draw. You know what I mean? Something in your body's pulling your keeping your soul there, so that when it comes back online, you're right back in there, and it's absent of your body. Like, you could be injured, you could be pretty messed up, and your soul's still in there. You might not be able to walk, talk, anything, but your soul's attached. So, I mean, I would love to see science kind of like push this, figure it out, and be serious about it. And I think that's happening. So let's talk about some more, just a few more near-death experience stuff, and then we'll move on quick.
Let's go. We're gonna go super quick because we had, like Paul says, he's gonna call. Paul's got a near-death experience he wants to share. So let's finish this up super quick, and we'll take his call, and we'll move on to machine elves and the beings on the other side. But let's finish this up real fast.
That's a pretty good segue. So, let's talk about just one near-death experience, just to kind of put a little information in your britches, right? Just to kind of show you something that happened. Let's talk about Vicky Pipig. I have no idea how to say her name. Umpipeg.
Whoa. You need to slow down. You're making me nervous. Are you cursing over there? The FCC's listening, man. The NSA is tapped in.
No matter how much I slow down, I'll never be able to say that name.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. What's the article? What do we got here?
Yeah. So this is the mindmatters.ai. Oh, that's kind of concerning.
Yeah. Right.
I didn't know AI has their own domains now. But she says, Vicky claims that she's never seen before. Never. She doesn't know what the sensation is. And when she dreams, she only dreams in touch, taste, and smell. She doesn't know what sight is. And so she was born blind, and she got into a car accident when she was 21. And she was rushed to the emergency room. She finds, she had doctors and nurses working on her, and she's basically, dying. And they were trying to resuscitate her back to life. And she shot out of her body, and she found herself kind of hovering over her own body. So this is the first time she's ever experienced sight, and it's through her like soul or whatever it is. And she could see herself, and she didn't recognize herself at first. She could barely take in what she was seeing, because this is the first time like she's ever gotten this data before, and it's like super overwhelming to her. But so eventually she's resuscitated, and she's back to being blind again, and she was able to describe what was going on in the room, what people looked like, what was on their shoes, what they were saying about her. They were saying like, oh, she's gonna be paralyzed, that. And she was kind of offended by some of the things they were saying, even though they didn't think that
which
she
means
could
it was
hear
real. It was real.
Yeah, and it's just a really interesting case. It just really validates it. She's never seen before. She has never experienced it except for when she died, and she was able to prove it by calling it out. And I mean, really interesting case. There's like a whole video on it, and so just if you search like Vicky's near-death experiences, or if you claw through this article, you can check out a bunch of near-death experiences. But what the hell is that, Mike?
That's crazy.
What is that?
That's crazy. So again, it's that extra sensory perception that many of us have and don't realize, and somehow we're able to, when we come out of our physical being, we see there's more to this. I think that's the question, right? Like some people could write it off as you roll your eyes and like the body's trying to tell you things. I don't know, like if you can't see it and then you're describing things that you could only see. I think that's different entirely. That's crazy stuff, man. That's crazy. Let me ask you a question about dreams real fast. So speaking in this, like, do you actually dream in color? Like I've heard that some people only dream in black and white. Have you heard that before?
I have like maximum. Oh, so okay. So I only dream when I have new experiences, and I have maximum dreams. Like I'm like I'll have lucid dreams. God, I see color. I see. It's just like it's kind of like normal, except it's kind of like TV where they kind of cut the in between for me.
Okay,
But yeah,
so-
I've seen
so
color.
it
I
is-
have
it
a
is
friend who
color.
says he's never dreamed before, and
I don't think that's possible. I think it's just the recall of the dream. Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird, but I have heard recently, and this is what made me think of it. Like I've never dreamt in black. I don't remember a lot of dreams, but when I do, they're never black and white. Does anybody out there only dream in black and white, or dream in color? Or supposedly, I've heard this. This is what brought the thought to my mind, where you said that the individual here in the near-death experience actually said that she only dreams with taste and touch and hearing, because she's blind. But do people only dream in a particular color? Like if people dream in like hues of green, like black and white, and like hues of green or hues of red, it's supposed to mean something. I don't know. I'm not a seer. This is not my thing. Like I heard this in a periphery conversation, and I was like, huh, that's interesting as hell, because it's never been anything other than regular, like real world color to me in my dreams. Like the color doesn't stand out like, the Vanilla Sky movie or something like that, where everything seems so surreal. It's not like a painting. It's like real life dream. I don't know. It's bizarre. I don't remember them often, but when I do, they seem very real, like scary real, like too real. But yeah, crazy stuff.
Now that you mention it, I don't experience like taste or touch. It's kind of more like a movie.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I agree. Like it's mostly visual and visual, audio, and there's no taste and touch. And I think if there's touch, right, you're getting stabbed or something, and that's not good. That's not good to me. So
yeah, I think when it's physical, if I do have any touch, it's like part of the experience. It's important, I guess, and my mind prioritizes it. But yeah, that's weird. She mentioned, she only dreams. First of all, it must be weird to only experience reality through taste and touch and feel, but then to only dream that way.
It's bizarre. Creepy, right? It's the manifestation of your physical self in the dream world. It's weird. And I did hear that on Joe Roop on what's his show, Fringe FM, Illuminating the Void is where I heard that conversation, talking about dreams and how some people dream in black and white and don't dream in color, and it's bizarre if they do. So anyway, there we go. Just there's the source. I'm not making it up, but good stuff. But lots of good conversations going on all over the internet. So hopefully we're one of them. But yeah, crazy. Okay, so there we go. Near-death experiences, DMT. It kind of brings us. It kicks us out of this body into something else, right? Is it that chemical composition that tells us it's time to move on to the next realm, and that's what we're looking at. And it's built in. It's hardwired. It's been something that evolved in us, and we've had for millions of years. Who knows? That's the conversation. That's the question. That's what we're here talking about. One more time. So if you guys want to be part of the show, we had Paul saying he wanted to call it 702-957-1037. Still waiting for you. And anybody else, everybody's welcome to call. That's why we do it live. We want to include you, and we'll read as much chat as possible. We can only read so much because we got some stuff to get through, and we got to get through machine elves, the entities on the other side, the aliens. Go ahead. Sorry.
I know we got to move on, but there's some good ones about dreams. Christian says dreams also come from stress and what you're living at the time, trying to show you the way. Dreams sometimes are so real and scary, but also give a lesson towards something you might be going through, or something you may want through dreams. It shows you, right? That's true, man. It's like sometimes I'll have a dream, I'll wake up and be like, "Yep." I'm just like, "Yep." It's kind of like Inception, if you ever seen the movie. It's like someone infiltrates the dreams and they try to convince you of something, and you trust your dreams almost to some degree. Very interesting. Yeah, it's true. And John says, I've had taste and touch, feel all of the above. One of the craziest things that occurs is that I do smoke a substance once in a while. You don't have to tell us what that is. That's fine. With a certain individual, you don't have to tell us who that is either. And is trying to explain something, and I actually feel the effects. Interesting. So, when Christian said, I have heard when people are drunk, they barely dream, and some of it's true. Like Mike knows when it's PBR does dreams say so. Some dreams, bro.
Easy. I'm drinking Moose Drool tonight. Moose Drool is delicious from
Ooh, there you go.
Big
Is that
Sky
some
Brewing.
human thing?
Big Sky Brewing. Yes, delicious. The Moose Drool is delicious. If you never tried it, it's delicious. They just got it at the liquor store close to here. I was like, oh hell yeah! I had to drive 10 miles to get this. Now I can walk there. I'm spoiled. All right, we got Paul going to tell us his near death experience. And then we'll move on to the machine elves and the entities on the other side. So here we go. Paul, what's up? You're on Troubled Minds with Ash and Mike. What's happening, man? What's on your mind tonight?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You're loud and clear. Go right ahead.
Let me turn the volume down.
All right. Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, you might
back
hear
when I
yourself.
was
If you have
18 years
headphones,
old.
just pull them off.
Go ahead, Paul.
Back when I was 18 years old, I had a surgery on my appendicitis. I was laying in the operation room. I got up and walked out the door, walked down the hall where my mom was. I could see my mom was crying. So basically, something happened where the doctors kind of, let her know that basically I stopped breathing.
Okay, I'm not sure if we got a like an internet connection problem or we got a microphone problem going on. There's something happening here. We don't hear you. You cut out there, and try and get close to the mic. And if that doesn't work, we're gonna have to move on because we can't hear you. If it's not microphone, it's internet. So try one more time. Get as close as you can to the mic, and then we'll try one more time.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yep, hear you good. Keep going.
Okay. The other one I had was left. I woke up and what was like worse. I wasn't floating. I was just there. I wasn't hot or cold, hungry or tired, just peaceful, neutral kind of thing. I knew there was light and love
Paul.
somewhere nearby.
Hey, Paul.
I had doors for me to go to the light.
Hey, Paul, hold on. We're gonna have to do this another time because you're not coming through. It's literally indecipherable. I can't hear what you're saying. Like it's like every third word I can kind of hear. So we're gonna have to move on. Sorry, man. If it's an internet problem, no problem. We'll fix it. We'll do it next time. Thanks for contributing. Thanks for joining. We can't hear it. We're just you're talking and we're unfortunately can't hear you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on and sharing because I know this is super personal stuff, and it sucks that the technology didn't help us out tonight. So there we go. My bad, Paul.
I wanted to hear it.
Blame me. Yeah, I agree. I wanted to hear it too. But there we go. Yeah, definitely breaking up. Okay, so all right, so let's move on. So we got DMT, we got all kinds of stuff. We got tons of people that have said they've done this and they've had these experiences where they cross over into some other realm, whether it's a dimensional or whether it's like within our own brain. Who knows, right? This is the question. These are the questions of the universe, and these are why we talk about these things because they're bigger than us. Because we won't have answers to this, but hopefully together we can maybe take one step closer to an answer. That's really the deal here. So machine elves, the entities on the other side. Where do we start here? I've got that clip of that lady talking about this stuff. That video you got. You want to start with her, or what do you think? What do you think?
I got a quick segue article.
Sure.
Really fast.
Sure.
Gloss over.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So Gaia.com. Scientists want to know more about the DMT entities people encounter. Right. So this is Gaia.com. It's got a lot of good, I guess I would say out there stuff, but it's really interesting. So they talk about the DMT, and and this is what I was talking about earlier. Now researchers are attempting to catalog these experiences to figure out just what or who these DMT entities are. Talk about DMT. It's in plants and animals. It's a compound that occurs naturally. And then you have experiences beyond your body. So let's skip down to DMT and aliens. DMT, aliens, and elves. And I'll just talk about this real quick and we'll move on. So Terrence McKenna, that's like the kind of like the godfather of machine elves, was the eminent psychonaut who devoted his life to exploring the many realms of the psychedelic experience. Distilled his 30 to 40 DMT trips down to one general experience when speaking to an audience in 1994. So that's available on YouTube. He's you could tell he's had a psychedelic experience when he speaks. So so it's kind of entertaining and a little bit long worded. Like his vocabulary is excellent, but it's anyway. It's almost like he's speaking a little trippy. It's definitely worth a listen. 2 hours long. But yeah, during this speech, he painted a picture in his audience mind that became a common description of specific entities many claimed to have met during a DMT session. Though he conceded that words were inefficient to describe them, he referred to them as machine elves. McKenna described his experience and the approximate amount of DMT needed to be smoked to achieve this breakthrough. From there, he describes hearing an ever increasing high pitched tone or noise similar to the sound of a ripping cellophane, or a crackling flame. Before physically breaking through a membrane and arriving at the DMT reality and a place completely alien from what we know. So yeah, he goes on to describe these DMT elves. There's some really interesting artwork, but the general consensus is that you can't really bring it back, really. He describes them as these so-called machine elves who cheer hooray and are clearly enthralled by his presence. He even references Pink Floyd lyrics. The gnomes have learned a new way to say hurrah, believing that they may be referencing a similar psychedelic experience, same archetype of this machine gnome. So yeah, he goes on to say that they're always happy to see him, and that they're self-dribbling basketballs made of grammar and light, whatever that.
Yes. Wait. We need to slow down. We need to say that slowly. So these entities, when you take DMT and you encounter these entities on the other side, when you cross through the veil, or whatever it is, wherever you end up, sometimes these entities, they communicate with you, and sometimes they ignore you. Right? It depends. It just depends on the experience, and the description is they are like a basketball shaped. They dribble themselves, right? And imagine somebody dribbling a basketball. These things just kind of bouncing up and down, hovering on their own, and they're metallic and jewel covered in many cases. Like it's just, but right? Like these are the entities on the other side, and these are the machine elves, they call them. But they're not the only ones. There's descriptions of like hazy, foggy beings, like you name it, humanoids of all types. So we've got a doctor who went through and looked at a bunch of cases here, a PhD that actually kind of poured through a bunch of cases and described these things. That's why I know this, because I'm not smart, because I'm leaning on or standing on the shoulders of giants. Of course, it's what we do. It's how we know things, and we'll talk about that in a sec. But yeah, so like self-dribbling metallic basketballs that are encrusted in jewels, right? To that effect. Oh boy. That's hot, right? That's pretty hot. I mean, as far as hotness goes. We do have a call coming in. By the way. Got a call on the way.
Do we? Okay.
Yep. So go ahead and finish up, and then we'll move on to those clips, and then take this call. So
I mean, the article goes to describe each person's. There's a couple of different people with different experiences. Graham Hancock, he does the ayahuasca, right? Which I said it was like a kind of a longer, more drawn out thing, and he says he consistently experiences the same entity. It's not quite Clockwork Elf, but it's he says it's a mother ayahuasca, and and a lot of the people who have these experiences with the elves is they'll say like, look at this, and they hold their hand out, and there's something in their hand or extension or extremity, and it's something that it's almost kind of like a movie or a video, but like in the fourth dimension. It has feelings, and people are like, holy shit, they're like overwhelmed with this experience, like what the hell. And then it's like life profoundly changing, and then they'll pull out their other hand. They're like, "Look at this," and they'll hit you with something else, and you're like, "Holy crap!" So a lot of people, when they finally break through, like if you smoke a little bit, you are kind of in the lobby. When you smoke a little bit, like a bit more, you're in the tunnel, and then you got to smoke a lot to break through and get to their realm, right? To their reality, to their dimension, so that you can interact with these beings. And when they do, I mean, he describes it. What was his name? Terrence McKenna. That they're thrilled for you to be there, and they get excited and they want to teach you stuff, and they almost try to keep you on task, right? They like repair you. They a lot of people have claimed that they'll like operate on their own minds, and when they come back they feel a lot better. So there's talks of a lot of but mostly it's benevolent or benign. There's all kinds of entities, cats, um, worms, all animals, a whole bunch of stuff, and that the people experience. So it's kind of different for everyone else, but there's still some commonalities.
And we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So there's a website that we'll talk about in just a minute after this call here that actually chronicles people that have gone on DMT trips, and not just that, ayahuasca and some other things too, right? So the psilocybin, we've talked about that in the past, about how they can kind of treat PTSD and veterans coming home from war, this type of thing, right? So they have chronicles of this, but it's personal accounts, right? And so instead of like scientifically, it's like Joe Rogan said, right? Like he wouldn't remember what he was doing if he didn't like come out of it and immediately like start telling you what just happened, because you instantly forget. It's like a dream, right? The longer you're away from it, the more you forget. And so he says that's the way he remembered. And so that's these things. That's what we're talking about. That's again DMT and the realms beyond. And we're talking about machine elves at this point. Let's take this phone call, and then we'll keep on trucking. Good evening. You're on Troubled Minds with Ash and Mike. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Christian. I'm calling from Phoenix, Arizona.
Christian, what's up, my man? Christian from Arizona. How you doing tonight?
Hey man, pretty good, man. Just I've been listening to you guys for over an hour now, but some of the stuff that you guys were just talking about near-death experience and stuff. But like the first one I have to share, as my mom passed away almost 5 years ago, and what I gotta say is that like I was attached to my mom, like every other human being in this earth is attached to the mother, but I had dreams of my mom constantly, like every week, at least twice a week and stuff like that. And yeah, it was something different. Never experienced it, after she passed away. It was weird for me, but yeah, I had like the main one I gotta say was I got home. I worked a double shift. I got home and all that, and then it was kind of wild, and my mom showed up in one of my dreams, right? And she talked to me. She's like, "Hey, mijo, I love you, and I know you're going through a lot of pain and all this stuff, right?" And in my dream was like very lucid, very like truth, like it felt so real. But I knew what it was, so I didn't worry about it. And she held her hand out to me, and she said, "You'd be better off on this side." And then in my dream, was like I told her, "No, I'm not ready. I need to take care of my kids and stuff, my wife and everything." So like she still had a hand out, and I looked at her, and she was like, it was a bright light. People say it was a bright light and everything. And I looked at her, I was like, "It's not my time, Mom. It's not my time." But then in my mind, I was thinking, like, what if I would have held her hand? Like, I don't know if everybody else experienced this, but like, what if I would have got her hand, and then would that push me to the next level, like I would have died in my dream, I guess you could say. I don't know what it is, but
yeah.
But
So was it like a visit, like
so peaceful.
like a friendly visit, or was it like the poltergeist, like Carol Ann, stay away from the light? And I don't mean that your mom is that way, but maybe she was actually wanting you to come be with her. You know what I mean? And who knows if you had taken her hand, what does that mean? Does it mean you wake up, or does it mean you don't wake up? Weird, man.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what I was thinking in my mind. I was like, my mom is very religious. You know, that's why my name is Christian. You know, when I was born, I have to say it. When I was born, I didn't have lungs, and I was born a month early, and my lungs were developed, and somehow I was a miracle. That somehow that my mom had friends at the church that she went to, that she believed back in the 80s and stuff, and my mom said, you know what, come on, my mom used to be Catholic, you know, Catholic shit up, you know, hardcore stuff, but she believed in Jesus Christ and all this, and she decided to bring the pastor and all these people when I was born, and the doctor said I was gonna die because I couldn't breathe, and then I was here, you know, but not just because of that, but like I don't know, like I still think to this day like it was a bad thing or a worse thing, but um after the all that fact of over the past 30 years and stuff, like I was kind of thinking about it, and my mom passed away and stuff, and it was just me, like it was my little daughter, she was 2 years old, and I came home one night from work, and I come home and everything, and my daughter was there. She was like in her crib, and she said, you know, 'cause her mom was white, and she calls her grandma a different name, and calls my mom a different way, you know, like you say, and she said she has a special name for her grandma, my ex-wife. She called her a Gammy, and then she didn't say Gammy, she said grandma, and and looked up to the like literally looked up to the ceiling, I guess you could say to the sky, and said grandma, and she was like, I guess thinking she understood what it was, but you know, like what I understood was like my mom wasn't present, and she only passed away about 2 or 3 months after that, and I was like, okay, I took it in, understood, and then like 2 days later, I had a dream. My mom came into my dream, and it was kind of wild. I was like, okay, it was like a normal dream, and it just changed into a different dream, where she was there looking at me and talking to me and experience, like she's like looking at me, telling me all this experience, like, oh, Mijo, you're going through a lot of pain, and like, do you want to be here? I was like, yeah, I want to be here. I have to be here, you know, for my kids and stuff. And then she's like, okay. And then she let go of the hand. She let go, like she didn't look at me back, and she went into the light, and then that was it. And then that was even crazier because, like, the next day I thought about it. I was like, my daughter saw the same thing I saw. As much as she could comprehend and what she could say at 2 years old, but she said a lot of things that kind of made me think to this day. You know, my daughter's almost 7 years old now, but just like thinking about it, it's like she went through the same experience, but she's a baby, you know. And you know, in that sense, I was like, oh wow, like there's something else. And so like that kind of drive me nuts and stuff. But my mom, you know, she's not perfect. Like no human is perfect, but she lived her life as much as she could, and she always lived by the word of God, and that's the way she passed away. Like you know, she didn't want to receive medicine from people, and she said that God has her back and everything, and God won, and that's what happened. And then she went her whole route, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I don't blame God, I don't blame nobody, but just in that moment, I just saw like she had a belief, and not say I believe, but I believe too, you know, but not saying that, but she did in that sense. Like it was a higher being, and she believed in Jesus Christ and God, and like her, like whoever does, you know. But that doesn't affect me as I have to be open minded about we are the only ones here in this earth, the
Yeah,
universe.
it
The only
certainly
ones
seems like it, right?
intellectual enough.
Yeah, and so you've got corroboration from your daughter, and you're not the only one. Like you go through that hundreds and thousands, and you know even you can say hundreds of thousands of years that the human condition has been around. There's stories like this that go back, that are written in stone on walls, and you know, and it's I mean, this is the thing. There's something there, right? There's something that we can't explain. That's that for sure. It's a realm that's not physical. That somehow we're able to communicate with the ancestors this way, and they're trying to communicate with us. It goes both ways. How we do, I don't know. Again, like this is crazy stuff. Fantastic story, man. Fantastic. Thanks for calling in tonight. Anything else while we got you on the phone right now?
I gotta say, I had another this experience. This is like happened about 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I was out and I was drinking. Okay, so I went to the store. So okay, to get some food. You know, like when you're drunk, you get hungry. So I want to get some food, and I want to go get some food. Came back and I crossed the street, and some guy came behind me with a gun, and and it was just simple as that. He took my gun, and I don't know, just like for a few moments in my time, I guess in my mind, it probably could have been like 5 seconds, and like I saw a whole like people say in movies and everything. Well, I it's not unbelievable, but I went through it. Like you see it, I saw my kids and like all their memories and just being with my kids at that time, and everything was like just so wild. And I was like, wait, what was going on? Like if my body was ready to like, I was accepting the fact that I might die at that moment, and then thinking about it and everything. But like I guess it does happen, and some people. But I saw like my life just like going through my mind within split 5-10 seconds. Like he could have blown my head, but he didn't, and I'm alive here today. And just like thinking like, just like the experience I had mentally, like your whole life goes through. Like in my mind, I was like, I had an experience of my uncles, my brothers, my kids, and my wife, and everybody else just went boom. Like it was like literally within a 10-second radius time where I experienced all this, and I'm just like, and it didn't happen, and then I got let go, you know, like whatever happened, and I was like, wow, you know. But I mean, like I know there's thousands of people, millions of people out there that go through this every day, and some people don't know how to cope with it or live with it. But I want everybody to know it happens to me too. It happens to everybody. I know everybody, and a lot of people are scared to like feel like, is this like a dream, or if it's not a dream, you know, like is it so real or not real? But it is real, you know. Like we live in a different frequency from different things, and our soul, you know, like a lot of people talk about soul. It's energy, obviously, after we die. And a lot of people, like I met friends and people that I know, they don't understand the difference between energy and being dead. But after your body dies, yeah, your body dies, but there's something very important inside, which is energy that we all have. Every human, everything comes with energy, you know. And I just want everybody here listening tonight is like, I want not to feel scared to say anything, because a lot of friends I had have been scared about saying anything about their experiences with near death or stuff like that, similar to that. That I don't want them to feel that way. You know, it happens to everybody, and it will happen to eventually to every person on this earth, whether before they die or something. Eventually, you know, it will happen. You know, and I just want to understand, like, it's not rare. Well, it's not as rare enough to say, but it happens to everybody. And a lot of people that I've heard about, just like dozens of people, that they're scared to say anything because they think that it's gonna be bad for them, I guess, in a sense. You know, and I just had to say it tonight. I had to call because I heard of all the things in the show, and I was thinking all those people going through things, and I was like, no, I went through it, and somehow we'll get through it. You know, everybody will get through it eventually and understand the metaphysics of it, what it means to, what a dream is to a person, and what a dream means to everybody else. And my dream, I guess it was my dream, but everybody has dreams differently, you know. And you know, like in that perspective is like, think it's not the way we want it, it's the way it happens. And everybody thinks it's gonna happen like in the movies. Like that's not a movie. It's the way it's gonna happen to every individual on this earth. Their impact towards wherever dream they had, you know. And I want people, you know, all happens to us as well, and your back of your head and your conscience, wherever you dream, wherever you're going through, it's gonna be there, you know. And it's gonna be, and it's always there. But
there you go. I'm with you, man. I'm with you, man.
Thank you for listening.
Yep, appreciate it, man. That's Christian from Phoenix. Thanks for the call, man. Great stories there. And that's the thing, right? So when you start looking at things in terms of dreams and the metaphysical and like we say, quantum mechanics, and is it all somehow connected? Is it energy? Is it spirit? Is it this? Is it that? Is it mechanical? Is it biological? There's a lot there, right? Like and I think as humans we're kind of a unique mix of all of the things at this point. And kind of back to that abduction thing and the aliens, and let's speculate they're here to visit us. I think maybe that's why, right? Because we're that pre-Borg state, we're the pre-Borg transhumanism. We still have souls. We're still fully organic, and maybe to the point we're mostly evolved to where we're flirting with or have in a secret space program style actually discovered warp drives and these types of things, right? Like actually discovered these things. We're on the precipice of that. It's crazy. Like it's crazy to think of all these this stuff. I see your comment there, Thomas. We'll read that in a sec. Great stuff. It's thank you for the call again, Christian, Juan Carlos. You guys are great. Amazing stories. Let's get to. We got to move on though. We'll go a little bit long tonight because we've had some great calls, but let's get to the entities. What do you think? Let's play some of these clips from this individual. Her name is Jennifer. What was it? Fine? No, Jennifer Like. Jennifer Like. Lyke. Anything on that real quick before we play these clips there, Ash?
No, I mean, thank you for sharing your story. It's we all go through stuff in life, and we lose people, and it's hard to deal with, and it's hard to kind of justify, and it's a lot of religions talk about this, and to have an experience where your mother passes away and she reaches out to you and she's like, hey, do you want to come with me? And it's a really incredible experience. Thank you for sharing that with us. Sometimes it's hard to talk about those things, and I'm sure your mom's looking down and she's looking at you taking care of your daughter, and you're kind of like doing your thing through her, right? Like you're doing your thing, she's going through you, and thanks again for sharing.
Yeah, definitely. Again, this is why we do it live. Appreciate that. Great calls tonight, guys. All right, so let's see. Let's play this clip. We'll read. We're not going to miss your comment there, Thomas. Good stuff about Tesla and the connection. Let's just read it. Screw it. If it scrolls, I'll miss it. Thomas on Facebook says, what if the human mind has its own operating system, with its own unique language interconnected with the source of cosmic knowledge from which our nature emanates and is leading humanity to a final outcome? As we dream, a suppressed but more sophisticated language is spooling up to communicate with your subconsciousness in a dream state within a low-tech environment. Some learn to break through the barrier and interact with this operating system, like Nikola Tesla, for example. And it's again, like well said, it ends up. Are we physical? Are we mechanical? Are we spiritual? Are we not? Are we electrical? Are we like electrical sheep from like a Philip K. Dick novel? Like this as technology becomes more and more prevalent in the way we do things, these things seem to blur, don't they? It definitely seems like WTF.
Yeah,
okay, so
it opens our like mind to possibilities. Whose comment was that?
That was Thomas.
Thomas, that was one hell of a comment, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nikki
There's
says
a lot of concepts in there.
Yeah, exactly. That right there is a whole show all by itself. Nikki says, life flashing before your eyes. I had it too, like a movie, but lasts seconds. So there you go. That's that near-death experience. And then Todd adds this. I have to include this. Great comments, guys. Again, you guys are the best. The only reason we do this live is because of you, because you guys have such insightful stuff. Great comments, great calls. And so Todd says, live the good life. Love one another instead of hate and envy. Help one another. Jesus was created in the likeness of man. And a little wink there. So good stuff. Like again, I think hopefully the vibe of this show is we're here to kind of hopefully help shepherd in that idea for humanity. Like we're not each other's enemy. We're not here to like tell each other we're wrong. We're not here to tell each other we know the answers and you don't, or you know them and we don't. None of this. We're not here to divide, right? Like every time you turn on the TV, that's like division, because that's how they roll. We're hoping to counteract that. Open source, This is what transparency is all about. You pick up the phone, you call us. If you think we're full of shit, we're here to take it. Like literally, we're here to take it. You can tell us we're full of crap. It's fine. That's what we do. That's why we're here. That's why it's open source. That's why it's open to you guys. We do it that way because it's important.
You're full of crap, Mike.
It's fine. Criticism is important. It's fine. But I'm just saying, like, that's why we do it this way. Because we're not scared of that, right? We're not scared of that.
It's true. Yeah, like, it's like divide and conquer. They always want you to pick a side, red, blue,
rich, poor,
China,
brown, white,
China, money, politics. It's gross. It's kind of like gross. And I think humans, as we become more technologically advanced and we kind of throw away religion, I think we're throwing away the baby with the bathwater, right? Whereas, religions used to have institutions where we come together, right? And there's a part of humanity that it's almost like you're in front of your tablet all the time, and that you're kind of like missing that out. And we're a modern show. We're live, right, on YouTube and Facebook, and so we're kind of using that technology to our advantage. But we're trying to have that conversation, and we're not trying to pigeonhole you into like one religious text, right, or a book, or a team. We're going to just talk about whatever and figure it out.
Or
and,
a faction, or a party.
Be human, right? Well,
exactly.
I mean, you guys.
Yeah, we're Team Human. That's it. There we go. Team Human. Okay, so we got some good stuff going here. Good comments again, as always. Carlos on YouTube says, unified consciousness is a popular theory. Some proposed Einstein tapped into it. Definitely good. So let's play this clip. We got a call coming in. We'll take that in just a sec. Let's start with the machine elves and that thought as we finish this up, and we will take the call. So hang on, caller there as we roll through this. We'll include you in the conversation here. But let's. So we're talking about machine elves, the consciousness, the entities that are on the other side when you take DMT. Our consciousness leaves us for a minute. They say it's dreams, it's lucid dreams, it's some sort of dreaming. It's a dream state. It's a what would you say? It's a step into another dimension. Like we put a foot in another dimension. So let's see what this actual scientist that looked into some of these cases that the people have reported actually says about this. Let's play this. This is that YouTube video that you sent to me that we found independently there. Ash, so here we're going to play those clips, roll through these real fast.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Here we go. So action. This is Jennifer Fine, or is it like L-Y-K-E? Jennifer Like L-Y-K-E. And she's a PhD, and she's talking about DMT. We're going to play this clip, and we'll take this call. Hang on, caller. We see you there. We'll get you in just a sec. Action.
So I'm talking today about DMT entities and their interactions with DMT users. So it occurred to me that some people might need a little background before I get started with that topic. DMT is a short abbreviation for dimethyltryptamine, which is a powerful hallucinogen that is involved in ayahuasca, which is a drink used in South American shamanic practices. It is also able to be synthesized separately, and it can be injected or smoked. And it is notable for several reasons, but one of them is that it's extremely powerful, short-acting, and tends to produce hallucinations that are quite vivid and unique. And at certain doses, people feel like they have broken through to an alternate reality where they sometimes encounter entities which they sometimes experience as fundamentally separate existences, not projections of their own psychological experience. And sometimes those entities interact with them. So the title of the talk refers to Terence McKenna, who was a famous psychonaut, and he sort of spoke about his own experiences with DMT and described his experiences with the entities as sort of prototypically. Sometimes they appear as machine elves, self-transforming machine elves that sometimes present as jeweled, self-dribbling basketballs. So this just gives you an idea of the kind of variety of entities that people experience. And if you haven't used DMT, then DMT users will tell you you cannot possibly understand. So we should just start with that.
There we go. Jeweled self-dribbling basketballs is worth repeating. We said it a couple times tonight. That's there you go. There's what people describe as these entities on the other side, the machine elves. All right, let's go to this call, and then we'll keep on trucking with this talk, which is fantastic. What's up? You're on Trouble Lines with Mike and Ash. What's your first name? Where you're calling from?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Justin, and I'm from Michigan.
Justin, what's happening, my man? What's on your mind tonight?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. Perfectly well. Go right ahead.
Loud and clear.
Okay, cool. I was wondering if you guys had talked about the microdosing with DMT and how they think that that's going to help alleviate like stress and anxiety. Just wondering what your thoughts.
No, actually, we haven't. So basically, yeah, no. There's just too much to talk about, kind of with the crossing to the other side of the consciousness. So like basically, it's all we've covered is like the basically a big enough dose to move you over into the other side, right? But what does microdosing do? What can you tell us about that? If you can't just turn down the stream, just mute the stream, and you should be able to hear us on the phone there. You still hear us?
Yeah, sorry, it's through a Bluetooth. I'm at work.
Oh, okay, no problem. So what can you tell us about the microdosing?
Well, I don't really know. But I know Joe Rogan talks about it quite a bit, and I thought maybe Ash would have some input on it.
You're up, buddy. What you got, Ash?
I have a friend who has. Well, hold on. Like parsing what I should say and shouldn't say. I have a friend. Let's stop there. He talks about microdosing, where you basically dilute it down, right? And you just, instead of getting like super high and blasting off into space, you just kind of get like a little buzz, right? And it kind of a lot of people do that with acid. With mushrooms, they kind of microdose and they get a little high. So, but I'm not familiar with DMT if people are microdosing on DMT. But I mean, when you have a dream, it's kind of like a microdose, right? So, I imagine it's like yeah. But people do that for anxiety, to get over get over stress and different things that helps them kind of come back to a more default state, which is the same idea of like smoking marijuana, just kind of a different tool for a different job. Have you heard? Do you have any friends or anything that have tried it, or do you have any experience with it, or?
No, I don't have any friends that have tried it or have any experience with it, but it's been something I've been looking into and maybe thinking about trying if they ever bring it to trials or whatever.
I think this is probably one of the ones that we're not allowed. I think for whatever reason, right? Oddly enough, right? Like with the fringe analysis and the conspiracy mindset, I think maybe there's a reason this is not allowed, right? There's a reason this is illegal in most countries. It's maybe because of they've, the governments of the world of the ones in the know have tapped into this, and they understand that there's a secondary level or a tertiary level that we can't touch, and we shouldn't be able to touch because it will break the illusion they want us to live in. Just one man's odd thoughts here, but it certainly seems like the war on drugs and this whole bit of cannabis. It seems harmless in many cases, but I don't know. Again, I hadn't heard of microdosing. We'll look into it. How about that? We'll look into it and we'll follow up on another show. That's for sure. I think there's probably something to it. If you said Joe Rogan's talking about, there's probably something to it. That guy's typically not full of shit, but we're all human after all. So we're full of shit. He's full of shit sometimes. So it just depends, right? Depends on what you got. Depends on what you're talking about. Depends on the context. So we will look into it. I hadn't heard about microdosing DMT or dimethyltryptamine. Yeah, DMT. I can't even say it. Yeah. Okay. So anything else while we got you on?
Abbreviation.
Yeah. Anything else while we got you on?
No, that's all, guys. I just wanted to really just call and say hi. It's really easy.
Appreciate that.
Is this your first time calling in?
Oh, I called in once before.
Cool. And you listen to us at work?
Welcome back.
Oh,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yep.
wait,
Yep.
you're allowed to listen to us at work? No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
Don't say too much on the air.
Yeah, exactly. My bad. He didn't tell us his last name or anything. We're fine. Nobody's in trouble. Nobody's in trouble.
Smart.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Perfect.
But,
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Matt, for calling in. And thanks for listening to us at work. I hope we can make your job less shitty.
Amen. Amen.
Yes, it does. It makes the day go by.
Amen,
which is
brother.
Nice.
Awesome.
Well, actually, I should say nice, but.
Right on. Anything else while we got you on real quick? We're gonna move on, but you got the air for a minute if you need it.
Nope. That's it, guys. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Justin from Michigan, thanks for the call. You're the man. The microdosing DMT, we don't know. If anybody knows about that, drop it in the chat, join the Discord, go to troubledminds.org, join the Discord, and let us know. Again, we'll follow up. This is the thing, right? We can't know it all online on a live show. It's impossible. Like, even if you give us obvious stuff, sometimes it's tough because we have to have a little lead time. But appreciate that, because it's something we can look into in the future, because I think DMT is not done. We have not covered all of it. There's a ton here, and there's a ton to talk about, and I think maybe dosage is one thing, and microdosing is definitely a way to look into it in that manner. So appreciate that call. Thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we could have went into a million different directions with the show. It was kind of like completely different, but also the same. So yeah, there's like 15 shows right here, and just starting from this point, it even branches off into, like, when we talked about witches and like them affecting reality, but it's like the same thing, right? So under it all, just like the physicist said, there's some sort of rule set. There's something, and we're just perceiving pieces of it, right? Just like maybe a foot over here or a shoulder over here, but it's basically all the same dude. It's all the same thing, just perceiving different parts of it. So really interesting, really cool topic. Let's get to the fucking aliens.
Action.
DMT alien.
I'm playing
Elves.
it. All right, so here we go. So we're the entities. So we left off there with the clip. So this is actually taken from a website. She's about to tell you what the website is. We'll pull it up in a sec. We can look at it. So there's people that have actually done DMT trips, and they catalog them, they chronicle them, and they do timestamps on how they prepared, if they meditated, if they took this, if they took that, how much they took, how long the trip was. Just like Joe Rogan said, he remembers because he came out of the DMT trip, and he recorded what he said literally right out of it, because if he didn't immediately, he would forget. Like, these are the types of things that are happening. People are chronicling these events, and they're going on a particular website. They're actually collecting these things, and not just DMT, ayahuasca. They're doing psilocybin mushrooms, like all of this. It's a similar thing, right? And it's because consciousness is individual. This experience is also a unique individual thing, and so as a result, that like science really can't replicate, because even the same person with the same dosage on the same day of the week with the same diet will have a different experience, right? So that's science with this. Science in this regard is personal experiences. So here we go. Let's play the rest of this. I'll link this in the video in the show notes, of course. I'll link it in the chat right now as we go. But again, this is a Jennifer Lyke. And she's a PhD, and she's been studying this and the effects on people and how they do their thing. So here we go. Let's get to the machine elves and the self-dribbling mechanical jeweled basketballs. Action.
So Terence McKenna suggested that anyone who uses DMT enough or long enough will eventually encounter the machine elves. And the part of the motivation for this project was to evaluate actually what do people encounter, what types of entities, and what kinds of interactions do they have, because there's actually very little research in terms of those questions. There's some popular literature, and there's certainly a lot online, but there's no sort of systematic way to determine what kinds of entities people who use DMT encounter and what kind of interactions they have. So this is just a couple of examples to give you an idea of the variety of DMT entities. So, for example, people way out of proportion to the rest of the scene in a bizarre alien spaceship. a woman playing a wind instrument sitting on a gyroscope, and so on. And then the kinds of interactions, there's a variety of interactions. Sometimes the entities are welcoming, sometimes they're hostile, sometimes there's sort of no interaction. These are just some actual examples from the data that I used in my project to illustrate the variety. So in terms of what I actually did, my interest was in getting a large sample of descriptions of DMT experiences, and so I went, of course, to arrowid.org, which, if you don't know about it, it's a major website that disseminates information regarding psychoactive drugs. And along with lots of other information, there are places for people to report their own experiences using different drugs. So I sorted and collected the stories of reports of people using DMT only. Plenty of people use DMT along with other drugs, but I didn't want to confuse the issue. So I selected just the cases that use DMT only over the last 10 years, so from 2006 through 2015.
Okay, so I did link it. This is arrowid.org, EROWID.org. And there's different ones. So again, there's psilocybin mushrooms, there's DMT, there's ayahuasca, there's tons of stuff in here. There's plants and drugs, there's mind and spirit, freedom and law, culture and art. So this is I think to me, this is the way the internet should be. Like literally, this website is amazing. It's no fluff, no ads, no bullshit. This is people talking about their experiences with particular things and how that affects the rest of us and how it could or might. And so not only that, so we had planned on getting into a ton of this. Again, there's probably 10 hours of content here just on this website. So at some point we'll revisit this and we'll read some of the things, because there are actually what the woman's talking about in the PhD here is talking about in these clips is that this is where she got the information from, and it's people kind of describing their trips, their DMT trips. And so it's there's some amazing shit. Like I was looking forward to reading some of this stuff because I scanned through it and was like, oh shit, look at this. This is going to be good. But we went long because there's just too much. There's too much good stuff here. So I think at some point we'll have to do a part 2 and we'll revisit this website and read some of these accounts because it's amazing. This is amazing stuff. And it's not all positive. Right, they say there's a bad they say there's a bad trip. There's some bad trips in here, and so we'll revisit at some point. But there we go. So there's the self-dribbling machine elf basketballs that again sometimes they're friendly, sometimes they're hostile, sometimes they're indifferent, sometimes they don't contact you at all. You move over to this other realm, and what do? Like you don't even know what to do sometimes. Like I heard Joe Rogan talking about like you show up and there's like a cage. Right, and you're in a cage, like in a golden cage, like a canary, and there's like an entity or a being there with you that's like talking to you and trying to like explain the way the world works, the way the world really works to you. They're trying to educate you, right? Like just some bizarre stuff. Like again, each individual will have different experiences, but that's pretty crazy whack stuff. But we got some more. Anything else on that, Ash? As we plow through these comments real quick, and then this plow through the clips. We got a few more clips here from this chick. Pretty good stuff, I think.
No, yeah, I think. Well, let's revisit this. We'll go through it more. Kind of. I think we've talked about the possibilities of what it could be and whatnot. Let's hear what the kind of experiences people have. Right. It is kind of interesting because when you have near-death experiences, it's kind of similar, right? You have different kinds of experiences where some people experience void, some people experience like Jesus, some experience saints. It's kind of similar, right? So let's see what the data is, right? Do you have some of the clips for? Is that what she talks about next?
Yep. Let's go. Action.
Like a quick breakdown.
That ended up being 149 trip reports. Sometimes information about the person's age and gender were included. And so of the people for whom I had that data, 90% of the sample was male, almost 25 years old. 75% of the reports that I looked at included the description of at least one entity, and 37% described more than one entity. So I had a total of 180 entity encounters to go on. One of the first things that sort of became clear is that many people mentioned the gender of the entities, which was sort of a surprise to me that so many had genders. But 24% of the cases referred to the gender of the entity. And so I looked at the proportion of male or female DMT users and the proportion.
Okay, I'm gonna kill that because it's a little bit less relevant to the story here. But so they actually it's mostly female. They say that most of the contacts they have, they're actually female machine elves. Right. Whatever that means. Apparently they have some very strong pronouns on the other side as well. Wink.
Yeah,
wink.
I mean it's
Wink,
similar.
wink.
It's similar when people remote view. They'll immediately, even if it's another entity, whether it's like another remote viewer or whatever, they can feel a feminine or masculine energy very quickly. Does that mean it's got a penis, or is it just that's kind of where the split is for humans? You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's like we can't differentiate. Like it's a physical thing for us. It's not. It's a spiritual thing for them. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense. Okay. All right. Let's keep trucking. So again, this is Jennifer Lyke, I think. Did I say that right? So here we go. PhD. She's looking at DMT trips and how people have reported and kind of parsing the data for us. So here we go. So she said mostly female interactions on the other side, like a female energy. So here we go. Powerful reaction.
So the main questions in terms of what are the categories of entities that emerged in the content analysis. These are the relative proportions, and I, tried to condense the categories as efficiently as possible. The largest category were entities that were fundamentally poorly defined or unclear. And so that obviously could be for two reasons. Either the person's experience of the entity was not yet clearly defined, or they just didn't report it very clearly in their trip report. So there's two possible reasons why that might have occurred. Humanoid entities, and this is in terms of the adjective, were the second most common group. Divine beings, aliens, elves and fairies was number 5. Animals and insects, geometric entities or machines, entities that were just voices, just faces, and then a miscellaneous category. So in terms of frequency, the poorly defined category was most frequent. In terms of interactions, there were a wide variety of interactions. The most common one by far was entities showing, teaching, or guiding the users. Second most commonly, there was no interaction, hostility, warmth or love, welcome or excitement, reassurance or encouragement, observation or neutrality, play, power and control, sexual interactions that were unclear, the entity questioning the person, the entity reminding the person, and then another miscellaneous category. So in terms of what are the entities doing with people, they're primarily showing them, teaching them, and guiding them in terms of their trip experience.
How about that? So the preponderance of the evidence from the trip experiences says that they're teaching, guiding, and reminding us of things.
It's almost like when you're older and you have a younger brother or a younger sister or something, you can't just help like trying to give them advice. It's kind of like that. It's like you come in and they're like, whoa, look at this guy. This guy doesn't even know where the hell he is. And you're like, what the fuck? Where am I? And they're like, oh yeah, let's go teach him about the universe. And he's like, oh, it's probably fun for them.
And and you hate them for it. That's being the inferior there, the younger, the less knowledgeable, however you want to call it. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, right? So there's positive interactions here for the most part, as combing through the data, and she combs through 10 years of data, 10 plus years of data, and trip reports, and kind of made like, as a scientist would, kind of determined like the percentages of what these entities were trying to do with people when they kind of crossed over and communicated. Crazy stuff there, huh? Crazy stuff. A few more clips here. You want to save these for next time, or you want to keep on rolling? How you doing on time there, Ash? You tell me, buddy.
Sorry, what was that?
How we doing on time? You good? You got to wake up early?
Uh,
Anything like that?
I'm just petering out a little bit, but I'm here. Let's do it.
All right,
I
let's
love
roll.
machine elves and DMT and shit. I'm going to the end.
All right. We'll hurry this up. So there we go. So this is again, PhD. Pulled up the data from the website I just linked. Let's finish this up. Let's smash through these clips and finish this out.
So just finally, in terms of relating the type of entity with the type of interaction, the chi-square analysis relating the 5 most frequent categories of entity and the 5 most frequent categories of interaction was insignificant. There is not a pattern there that you might expect if you're thinking that the entities are some symbolic archetypal projection. So that was insignificant. Perhaps there is an archetypal component in the sense that male users are more likely to experience female entities in the sense of being an anima representation, but that's speculative as well. Certainly there was a wide variety of entities, although not infinite. There are a relatively small number of categories in terms of what could be experienced in a DMT trip. And the wide variety of interactions weakens the analysis given the number of cases that I had to look at. But what we can conclude is that the machine elves are not actually the norm. Undefined entities are the norm, or humanoid entities are second most common. It's possible, given the number of unclear entities, that DMT trip experiences sort of evolve over the same course as hallucinations, either in psychosis or influenced by other drugs, that the hallucination commonly develops from a simple, less coherent form into a more complex, more coherent form. So it might be that we just caught these people, they described something that wasn't fully formed. And then finally, I think this area deserves more attention, if only because there are obvious similarities and differences to the other types of entities that are experienced in other altered states of consciousness, such as ayahuasca. There are some differences. The discarnates experienced through mediumship, discarnates or entities experienced during near-death experiences, and also in alien abductions. So I think there's more to find out here. But either way, this exploration of the DMT entities tells us something more about what the human mind is capable of.
There you go. I think that's a good way to wind it out. So you notice what she said. And so I've got some actual documentation that kind of backs this up as well. Other people describing that when they take ayahuasca or DMT, that it's not just kind of difficult to describe entities like humanoids or non-humanoids, or like smoke beings, or like fire elementals, or whatever it is, right? Like whatever it happens to be, however they describe these things that they meet on the other side. What happens on a regular basis, again, I've linked the thing, you guys can read it yourselves. There's an alien, like actual aliens, like we talked about the abduction phenomenon quite often on this show. I don't know. I think that's your alley, Ash. What do you think, buddy?
I know that during abductions, there's some soul shit going on sometimes too, and Linda Moulton Howe talks about that. And yeah, I mean, if you're a more advanced civilization, well, let me wind it back. All of this stuff at the end of the day is science. There's some sort of rule set, right? And humans are only so far. And if you look at Tom DeLonge, he hints toward this. Bigelow, airspace. You know, there's Linda Moulton Howe. You're starting to get this you get this downwind whiff of some sort of consciousness or souls or something, remote viewing. And so if you're a highly advanced race, if you're like a million years ahead of us, maybe you craft the code. So aliens are using this to, go back and forth, and people run into them, and who's to say what the medium is of reality in the universe, and aliens and stuff. Aliens.
Aliens. It seems like we got the alien logo. Like we come back to aliens, right? It seems like it always comes back to aliens somehow, some way, right? Whether it's physical or spiritual or dimensional or some combination of all of the above, or quantum mechanical. How we're missing some of the things, some of the actual things that make us what we are. Like we miss it. We miss the forest for the trees, and the aliens just keep showing up. Just keep showing up in popular culture. Just keep showing up in the stories. Just keep showing up. Like it kind of almost doesn't really matter what the topic of the show is. You can find some way to angle aliens in there, because it just seems like they're part of every story. They're part of every mythology. They're part of every story that makes us human. It's weird. It's weird. It's almost like that DNA link with dogs, like I talked about earlier. Like they know how to be dogs. It's like we know how to be people, and we believe in aliens. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, of course, there's people that don't believe in aliens, and they think we're nuts for talking about it. But I'm just saying, right? Like there's a common thread there. There's like that universal subconscious that kind of flows through what we do and what we think and how we communicate. And yeah. Anyway, we're at the end here. We could play more. We could do more of this. There's literally 10 more hours of this stuff. We could read individual accounts of DMT trips and ayahuasca and other stuff. It's on that website. I did link it. What is that website? It's called Erowid, EROWID.org. Check it out yourself. You can see we're not making shit up. Per usual, we try our best to not make a bunch of bullshit up. We just try and find sources. And because people are saying it, we can talk about it. It's fair game. And so that's the point. So you guys make up your own mind. We don't have conclusions on this. We have questions. It's what we do. It's why we do the show. You tell us what you think. If you like this type of conversation, if you like the esoterics, or if you like the interdimensional talk, if you like the alien talk, or hell, if you like the surveillance state talk, China and the coronavirus, we try and do it all. We try and make stuff that makes sense, and here we are doing it. We're at the end of this. We've gone way long because of you guys. And we appreciate that. If y'all weren't here, nobody was listening to us, we'd have been done an hour ago. But you're here. You're contributing. You're calling us. You're chatting. You're keeping us engaged. You're staying engaged. And so I don't mind going long. And I'm sure Ash doesn't either. Let's finish this up, buddy.
Let's wrap it up, man. It was a good show. We talked about an interesting topic. I think in mainstream popular culture, it's Joe Rogan's pretty much the pioneer, right? He's the biggest podcast in the world, and people are interested. They want to know. People want to know, Mike. They want to know, right? And that's why we're here. We're talking about stuff. We're trying to figure out life and what it means to be human. And you guys got that itch. I got that itch. Mike's got that itch. We're here. Scratch. Right?
Yes, we are. So, let's scratch that bitch. And I mean that respectfully. And you know what that means. We're at the end, and you're listening to Trouble Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange.
I'm your co-host, Ash, reptilian from Mars.
And we do this Tuesday and Friday night, and we come together and we talk about, hopefully, things that are interesting. We can't be perfect. Sometimes you're less interested. Sometimes you're more interested. But hopefully you just keep coming back, because these are the things that the mainstream doesn't talk about. These are the things that we hope will I don't know. If we give somebody somewhere one positive atom of momentum in the correct direction, I think we've done our job. And I think that's what this is all about. So you guys are the best. Thanks for hanging out. We know it's an extremely long show sometimes. This one went long. I think it was important to go long. There was a lot to talk about. You guys are amazing for sticking through. And we'll be back. We'll be back on Friday. So it's Tuesday night. We'll be back on Friday, and we talk about all the things we're not supposed to talk about. We're here for you. You're here for us. This is teamwork. This is teamwork. That's why we do it live. There we go.
Thanks, guys, for calling in. We had some great calls tonight. Great conversations. Please call in more. This is a good topic. There's still a lot on this topic. We'll get back to death, souls, DMT, experiences. Thanks again for having me. And it's always a pleasure to be here. And take it away, Mike.
Let's do it.
What's up?
Let's do it. You're listening to Trouble Minds Radio. Michael Strange here, Ash the Reptilian there. You guys are the best. We do it for you. You're here for us. Like I said, teamwork. If you want to help us out, leave us reviews on iTunes. Tell people about the show. Tell people about the show. Tell people about the show. One more time, I'll say it again. Tell people about the show. That's the most important way you can help us out. Because as we grow together, our reach empowers all of us together. This is our show. Together. That's why we do it. Appreciate it. You guys are the best. One more time, Trouble Minds Radio. Thank you for listening. From our Trouble Minds to yours. Have a great night.
Good night, y'all.